Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Microfleet Collectors number 118. Today, you have got myself, Kevin, and you also have Cole.
What's
So
up? Man, it has been so long. So long.
it has been so long. So this is actually the first time that we're going to be simulcasting this on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, but we're going to try and rough it through here. So thanks everybody
I
for
I
tuning
see
in.
comments, so we're at a much better start than last time we tried to do this solo.
Yes, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I'm seeing YouTube comments
Yeah.
for sure that are coming in. So if you're sending in through Facebook as well, um, just keep rolling with that, and I'll see whether or not I can figure out how to make sure that we get those actually into the feed. So yeah, we got a ton going on here. Thanks everybody for signing on so soon. I appreciate everybody coming in on Saturday. We had some things come up yesterday, and now we're here. So this will be our first Saturday broadcast as well, which would be cool. So Cole, what has been going on with you here over the past little while? I looked the other day, and I think the last time we did this was May.
It feels so long. I couldn't even remember what we covered last time. It's been that long and so much has
Yeah,
happened since then.
for sure.
That it's hard to even know where to start with this. Yeah, I've been good. Same old stuff going on, but
Nice.
happy to be back on here. And there's a Facebook comment. What's up, Damon? Happy to be on here talking toys. Things that
Yeah.
things that really matter, right?
Absolutely. That is
Well,
definitely right. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in here. Damon's on early. I see Luke is on here. I don't have the newest stuff yet, but yes, we're going to be coming in gradually. Oh, we got someone from Norway. Thanks for tuning
wow.
in. Jeez. Wow, I didn't realize we had that far of a stretch. I feel really weird sitting here in Maryland, and we got somebody out there in Norway. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I think the last thing that we covered um, was gosh, I think it was just Series 6 news, and it was actually prior to the Starfighter class because you got the Vault box.
Right. Man, it's been so long. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. So,
We've had
what
a
we
whole
typically
nother Vault box release since then.
I know we
Right.
have. That's right. So I figure we'll kind of go through a little bit of what we've done before with just the roundup of kind of what's going on out there. And then we've got a bunch of stuff that's actually new that's been coming out that's been a pretty cool flood of information here over the last little while.
Yeah.
Um, so I was so late. Yep. Yeah, I think over in Norway, it's probably a lot slower getting some of the newer stuff. Although, to be perfectly honest, we didn't get much of Series 4 either. So
Yeah.
I would imagine you all will get more Series 4 than we we did.
It's got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we talked Ghost and ATTE. Yep, yep. We'll still talk a little bit about that again tonight. Uh, Adrian, welcome in. Thanks for coming. Able to get the Fang Fighter and the Phantom. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that because I think that is one of those that's important to make sure that as we're checking out the right way so that we can at least keep the flow of these things going. Um, Now, I don't have an intro. We don't have Mauricio here with his sweet stop motion intros, so we're just going to just jump right into it here.
No cool
Um,
bumper this time. Sorry.
No, no. So I think first one, I'll just hit really fast. Series 1 and 2. Series 1 light armor class is at Ross. So Ross for $4.99 or $9.99 if people are there checking that out. They just dropped it down to $9.99 for the troop transport. And then Series 2, a ton of Sabines found. It was really cool to see. I'm not sure how you feel about this, Cole. I loved it. Seeing like Sabine was at 200, 250. First few ones were found at Ross. It was up there. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people found it at Ross and it dropped like $150 overnight.
Yeah, I love seeing it drop.
Crazy.
Otherwise, I'm a little salty about not finding one, but
Yeah, I know.
they
I'm the
were
same
they
boat.
were in my area, so
Yeah.
apparently, so they've been around. I see tons and tons of people having good luck with that. So that's awesome. Um,
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see if those keep getting restocked or if this was it. I'm kind of curious what happens
Jonathan.
now. You know,
Yeah, Jonathan
um,
found two of them. So lucky guy.
yeah, man.
Um,
Not for
the
lack of trying. I've spent a lot of time since our last stream driving around,
oh my gosh.
driving all over town, and it's a whole lot of Genevex and troop transports.
Yes, it
Maybe a
is.
few damaged ties here and there, but
Mhm.
a lot of Halo stuff. I found some good Halo stuff, but
No, you did.
man,
I only found that one. I found that the Master Chief the one day, and then they had Linda the next day, and those were the only two of the Halo that I ended up finding.
Spartan series.
Yeah, yeah, the big
Yeah, I
one.
haven't seen any Spartan series, but man, they've had tons and tons of the 4-inch line.
Yeah, for sure. And then if we go to series three, you've got probably some V wings hanging out there. I haven't, to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen any series three in any of the stores that I've been in for a while now. I'm sure I know there are a lot of people out there that are still seeing that, but
A lot of West Coast grocery store chains, I think, have a
yes,
lot of that left over. It seems like most of the reports I see are various, basically grocery stores. So
yeah, that's right. The Fred
it's out
Meyers,
there. Yeah, it's out
yeah,
there if you're looking for it. But it's
yeah,
all driving the cost down, I guess. So it's
absolutely.
a win-win, I suppose.
Yep, and then we go to Series 4. Series 4 is there's a lot of news to talk about with Series 4 actually, with the Vault. So, and then still some trickling out, which has been nice to see. Um, but yeah, that actually kind of launches us right into this. Let me go ahead and pop this up here. So, um, one of the big things, obviously, that happened was the vault drops. So you've got Series 3 Starfighter class, which came out,
Yeah.
and really it's still up, available to.
Which makes sense. I mean, Series 3 and Series 4 blind boxes were
Mhm.
pretty readily available around me. I still come across Series 4 here and there. I think you
You
can find them
really?
at GameStops.
Wow.
Um, but between those being fairly well uh, distributed and the bundles from Amazon.
Uh-huh.
So you with between both of those, I think people in the US at least really loaded up on them.
Yeah, I would agree.
So it makes sense that they're still up, and I know people are generally more into the actual ships than the
Mhm.
smaller speeders to some degree. But man, I do think they're the best looking set, right?
With
Just the way they're displayed in that box set.
you're talking
Um,
about the Scout class?
yeah, Scout
Yeah,
class looks great in those sets. Like
it does.
you know, it's not just the boxes all stacked in there with
Yeah,
the bubbles. You know, it's a really
agreed.
cool way to display them. This was the first one I skipped just because I
Mhm.
have multiples of probably all of them.
Yeah,
And
the one
I
thing.
knew I would need that money for this month and next month.
Yeah, exactly. There is some differences though, which I think has been nice to see as I've looked at those, as I've gotten them. Each set seems to have something slightly different. Like with your Series 4 Starfighter or Series 3 Starfighter class, you get the panels on all of the droids' heads, which I would say I think it was worth it for me as like a
For
completist.
sure, yeah. I think for anybody who's really into the line, the hardcore people, I think it's probably worth the double dip just to have the best version
Yeah.
out there of the ships.
Agreed.
Most of the ships are relatively the same, but yeah, that paint deco on the droids and things like that is definitely I think worth the cost for some of those, because I think all of them were upgrades for me in that
Mhm.
box. All the Series 3. I don't think I had a single droid that had the panels. So
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was
I
that
guess
was that was great. And even BB-8. I mean, every single droid was updated,
right.
which was awesome. BB-8 looks so much better.
It
Um,
does.
so it definitely adds a little bit of incentive to maybe double dip if you've already bought some of the stuff, just to have the best versions. But now, I think now we're at a point where there's nothing to update. Series 4 I think was pretty across the board.
Yeah.
Had that updated text, so I doubt we'll see anything like that where stuff's been updated or anything like that, or running changes that are included in the set. That I don't know if you can think of anything, but to me it's probably
Yeah, I don't other than potential misprints like Rex was one for the Series 4 Scout class collection where
a little
it seemed
messy,
like what's that?
a little messy.
Yeah, the standard versions that were released, the one that came in that one does look better. I know I've seen a number of people that have said that. Um,
Really.
there's a little difference in the color as well on the blaster mark for the speeder that has damage, like it's a red thing. You can take a look at my review that I did of, and I showed the difference between the two. I prefer the other one, the standard release versus this one, but it is slightly different. Um, so yeah, and I would agree with the comment here. Blind boxes definitely need better security containers. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. I wonder whether or not some of those retailers are kind of like whatever. It doesn't really matter. You're talking about peanuts when you're looking at a multi-million
Yeah.
dollar location. So I don't think that they care enough to do that.
I
But
think it would cost both of them, whether it's Jazzwares tweaking. They could tweak their packaging, but to add in anything additional, it's probably and for a retail store to have to go in and either put them in security boxes or anything like that. I don't at that price level. I don't think it's worth the cost to them.
yeah,
To do
agreed.
to do much about them.
Thanks for the comment there. Love the reviews. Appreciate that. I'll keep them coming. I'm so antsy here to get the next one done. Um, I almost had the ATTE today. They've got it in the store, but they wouldn't let me. It is street dated, but they wouldn't let me take it. So they wouldn't pull it from the back. At least I'll say that.
Which is interesting
Thanks
because
for Sith
several
Infiltrator.
people had no issue, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I wonder whether or not it's absolutely well. You're welcome on the royal tie. Um, I would say it doesn't seem like it's register locked, but it is street dated still. So not really sure what the deal is with that. So street date on mall ship on everything is the 21st of July.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the 21st, the ATTE, the Ghost, and the Sith Infiltrator
Which should be a Sunday, right? That's typically how Target
is
does
a
it. Is
Sunday.
that
Yep,
right? Yeah.
yep, for sure. So yeah, I'm antsy to. I hate seeing every. I like seeing everybody get these, but I'm also super jealous because I really want to get this in hand to be able to
Yeah, it's
compare it
bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
for sure.
I've seen
Yeah,
nothing like that, but man, that's got to be a terrible feeling. I hate seeing the posts from people that found
yeah,
chases and rares and this brand new stuff, and they get up to the register and it's taken away from them. That's just
agreed.
an awful feeling.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good segue into Series 6. So this would be kind of hard to see. I wasn't sure how this would pop up on here. I'll see if I can just make this full screen.
Hey,
I
there you
don't know if
go.
that really helps at all, but you've
Yeah.
got here is our Series 6 lineup. And so there have been some Series 6 that have been purchased. So you got Scout class in there. The one interesting thing about the Scout class is, that they changed up the number of vehicles where they typically would have 8. Now they have
They've dropped two, right?
6, right?
Yeah. Um,
And they have 4, 6. They
I'm not
dropped 2 of
sure.
them.
hard to know what the thinking was there, or if we'll see that come back in
Yeah.
a later wave.
Well, there certainly was a lot of flack for definitely, I would say, for the chases in the
Uh-huh.
scout boxes. I think everybody hated having the chase in there. Certainly, having the two rares makes it way more doable. I mean, if you
If that's what it
figure,
is, I mean, I'm curious if they've switched to one rare, one chase like the other classes, or if these
mm,
will be two rares. We don't really. I guess we won't know until
yeah, that's very true. We don't know what the
we
actual
we
breakdown
we may
is.
not know until they release their own version of their collector's guide that they do,
Yeah.
or depending on how they're displayed at Comic-Con.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, for
I
sure.
the last couple of trade shows, I don't think I've seen they haven't labeled them like they did the first show or two.
Right.
So who knows? But yeah, it's an
And
interesting
then,
take. It's a lot of reuse, right? I don't think there's a new mold in there, correct?
correct. But I think
So
it's beneficial because of the ATTE that we're getting. But the other thing that's cool about Series 6, since we did this before, is we now know what the full lineup is going to be. So we got our light armor class information. So we've got the two E-wings, which is really exciting. That's going to be awesome. I don't
yeah,
really care about the color, to be perfectly honest. I'm totally fine with the blue ones. I think those look great.
yeah, for sure.
And then you also get one of the armadas in there, as well as you get the pirate snub fighter, and then an A-wing. So those are all pretty cool. And then obviously we got the other part of Series 6 hitting. And this is the one thing I would say for sure with Series 6. I posted about this yesterday in the group, and I'll just pull this up full screen just so that everybody has this. This is the DPCI for Series 6 Starfighter. So
That
write this
should,
down,
I
take a
believe
picture of it.
that's for all. That is for all
All of that.
starfighters.
Yeah, which is great because it's still using the same DPCI. The problem is that the UPC that's actually on the item isn't
Is not
linking
tied
to.
to that, right? So the UPCs have not been added to the assortment that all the other starfighters and all the other waves have been added to.
Yeah,
So that's led to people checking out or not checking out, but
right.
the people that get out the door with them, there's been so many different ways that either they've found a way to check out or an associate has come up with a way for them to check out. And some of them are great if you get one, if they ring one out for $1 or $2, that's awesome. But there's the issue of inventory,
Hmm.
which normally would not affect us that much, but when we want to get restocks happening and the inventory is totally thrown off and you go in and buy the whole wave that they have there and they ring you out as miscellaneous item, the
Yeah,
system does not know to reorder that wave until they do some kind of manual inventory, I
right.
guess. So
Yep,
I'm worried that we might run into an issue where stores are not reordering more because the inventory's been thrown off, because people are going in and just scanning N1 starfighters that are on a totally different DPCI. And
yeah,
so you're going to end up having stores order more N1s because it looks like you just bought 3 or 4 N1s. So the store is going to order more N1s because they think they're selling them. And they're
yep,
not going to order more Series 6 starfighters because they think they're still on the shelves. So it probably behooves you, if you care to take the time, to just talk to somebody in the toy department, explain to them the situation. And what I've had happen a couple times, and I've seen several other people that have gotten this done, the associate in the toy department can go to the back and they can print off a new UPC for the item that's a sticker. They'll cover the old UPC, and you'll be able to check out, and it should reflect correctly in inventory that you checked out with a starfighter.
Yeah.
So I know that that's a little bit of work, I suppose, but that ought to make it better for the store and your hunting to have those ships be able to keep flowing, and you don't have to do anything shady with that. And I think I have. Let's see.
Yeah, the other thing too that you can do, I had this happen for me that I had.
Surprise! I found some, which was
Oh,
great.
nice.
But you can see here, they literally just put a sticker
Yeah.
over the old. There it goes up almost. They put a sticker over the old UPC, and it rang out just fine. No issues. Hopefully, inventory's great. The guy was super nice about it, and I think that's probably the best way. I
Yeah.
think the associate in the toy aisle that works back there is going to be far more likely to do that and try to do things correctly than somebody at the front counter or the register that doesn't really know what's going on and just thinks, I think it's telling me to pull this. I'm just going to pull it. And sorry, you can't buy it.
The other thing you could do is go to customer service with the DPCI, and then they'll look it up and be able to check you out that way. I have heard of a couple people doing that as well.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're going through and doing it, and I had this happen for me where I found them and I was like, I'm getting through this. So I checked out with a different item. And then I ended up going back later and was like, hey, I wanted to see what the stock is here because there were none there. And they were like, oh, it says there should be 4. I was like, oh, I bought all
You
of those
bought the
4.
4. Yep, that's the
So
problem.
they're
Yep.
not actually here. It's like, is there any way you can adjust the inventory for that? And the lady was like, sure. So she adjusted it down to 0. So,
Which, yeah, fortunate you found somebody willing to do that. Who knows if they'll all be, maybe it's 50-50 getting somebody to actually help you print a sticker. But usually if you tell them, hey, this is what I've seen everybody online doing, this is what's happening at a lot of the stores, they'll think, oh, okay, I know what that is and what they're doing. Sounds right. I'll go do that. Just be kind, and
yes,
if they try to take them, trip them and grab the stuff and run.
yeah, there you go. Now I've got a couple other pictures here from some other members. So this is actually great to see. This is from one of the members out in California, that they are double packing chases and rares. So,
like Series 5.
Like they did with Series 5, which is super exciting, because one of the advantages of that is that you don't have to go running around to multiple stores to be able to find 2 of them. If you're an in-box and out-of-box collector like I am, it's great to be able to find both of them at the same location. Then you can just move on. So, yeah, I have been seeing a lot of people that have found these. It's hard to tell yet what the actual case assortments are.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find enough info on that. I don't know if people that find them, there's already one sold or what's happening with it. But this is just a guess. My guess would be whether it's the rare or the chase, since the fangs are double packed. My guess would be you're going to lose one fang, and then out of the rest of them, it makes the most sense to lose the Armada re-release of a ship. I don't know if that's true, but my guess would be when they're packing those 4 in a case, they're going to put in the 2 new ones along with the 2 rares or 2 chases. Surely,
yeah, I did see
that's not confirmed.
One
I don't know, but
it was 2 Heras, a Phantom, and a Gauntlet. I did see that.
It would be crazy. I guess the other thinking is if they're double packing all the other ones at the stores, that it in general could be easier to find that. But it's kind of it would surprise me that they were pulling a new mold to put those in there. But who knows? I would love to find several.
Yeah,
several store reports that have that info so we could corroborate everything.
For sure. So then the other thing that we have, so it looks like here we go. So 2 Fangs, 1 Phantom, 1 Armada, 2 Kenners, 1 Phantom, 1 Armada, 2 Heras, 1 Phantom, 1 Gauntlet.
What is that formatting, Damon?
Yeah. That is the correct case pack, he says.
You wanna? Can we
Yeah.
pull that up again?
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I remember seeing was the 2 Heras, the Phantom, and the Gauntlet. But yeah, the Fangs, they're just putting the 2 Fangs in with that standard pack.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, now we know.
there we go. So if you see those, if you see just either one of those out there, then you potentially have them. I have
I
seen a
will.
lot of people just finding one of but the problem that you run into right now is if you find the one rare on the peg and you ask them to see if there's something in the back, because they can't look it up, it's hard for them to be able to find it because
They've got to visually, yeah.
they have to go back there and find it.
Yeah. In my experience, the Phantom has been the hardest to find out of the commons.
Really?
That seemed to be the one that was always gone.
Mm,
All the
yeah, for
Rebels
sure.
fans, I don't know.
I know all the Rebels fans, man. We got some good stuff coming.
10 years.
Yep. So here is our other target stuff that we've got. So we've got the Sith Infiltrator and the ATTE are landing. Some people are getting out of the store with the Infiltrator. Again, these are both pictures from a couple of members. I just grabbed these off the pages. So if these are yours, thanks for posting them.
And theoretically, these are probably in most of the country already. Like
Yes,
I've
they
seen
are.
I've seen people in the middle of the country finding the ATTE. You said
Yep.
yours had them in the back, you thought?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
They
so
do. She said they
my
arrived yesterday, actually.
my guess is they are all over, and people will be finding them all over the place.
Yep. Agreed.
Good luck making it out of the store, but
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot. My guess is the ATTE looks like probably 4 to a case,
Yep.
or they're getting 2
Does.
cases. The scimitar should be. I think those are probably 2 to a case, right? Have those been coming 2 or 4 to a case?
You're talking about the interceptor or
The infiltrator.
infiltrator? I'm sorry, infiltrator. Yes. I don't know. I have no idea. Haven't heard
Yeah.
anything about it.
Regardless, even if the initial allotment of those goes really fast,
Hmm.
Target has a history of just flooding the shelves after the initial stuff is sold through. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't be too worried about that. I think if you miss, it's sold out on Target's website, correct?
it is. Yeah, both of
Yeah.
them are sold out.
If you get up the morning of the 21st, I believe, like early,
Hmm.
early Sunday morning, they should be back up and available on the
Yeah,
website. That is what typically happens with those exclusives.
right.
So if you missed it, wake up early on the 21st or really, really late that Saturday night. It
Yep.
might pop up and get on there, and you can reserve in store. And I know that's what a lot of people do. I would maybe reserve one at 2 different stores just in case you run into the issue
Hmm.
of sometimes when people do that overnight, they will it behooves you to do it at 2 different stores, because a lot of times what'll happen is somebody will get those out and have them put on the shelf before the picker comes to take care of your order.
Hmm.
And if
Yeah.
somebody's there
Okay.
when they open, sees
Yeah.
them, grabs them, the picker won't be able to do that, even though at the time when you ordered it, it said it was in stock. Um, if I really, really, really want something like that, what I would do is place an in-store pickup order at 2 different stores, and probably be at one of those stores at open just in case.
Yeah. Yeah. The ATTE. I'd agree there. Then, and that was part of the problem I ran into is that it does say that it's street dated for 721, but it does not seem to be register locked. So if you're able to get them to pull that from the back, you should be able to check out without any issues. Um, And then the other thing that was exciting news is the May 4th Disney, um, whatever you want to call this. I don't know what it's called, the Naboo
Exclusive
Battle
Battle
Pack.
Droid Battle Pack.
Yeah, that has shipped. So the unfortunate thing was I had placed an order and then I saw that you put up there that there was a discount. So I went in and got it on the discount and then I went back to go cancel my other order and I
Yeah,
couldn't cancel
bad
it.
timing. Definitely
So
bad timing.
it's
It's a site-wide friends and family discount that they do a time or two a year.
yeah.
And it just so happened that this one landed right before they started shipping these orders out. So I saw some people were successful in getting theirs canceled, but
Mhm.
um, you
Yeah.
know,
I guess I
it
was
seems
just a
like a
little
big
bit too
hassle to
late.
return it and do all that. You can return them to Disney stores. So if you've got a Disney store in a mall around you or something like that, you can return these items to the store. I think for free. So
Oh,
if you're
nice.
really worried about the, I'm not sure what it was, $14 or something like that.
Yeah, for
It's a
sure.
25% discount. So it's something for sure. I mean, anybody that hadn't pre-ordered it, it's awesome. Although you had to buy two, I guess, to get the free shipping, but it's
Yes,
a
you
cool
did.
set, and it's another one that's timed. I assume this was the intention, but they are really basing a lot of this stuff around the ATTE. It's cool, and it's really clear that that is a flagship product for them because the entire Scout Wave ties
Yeah,
directly into Geonosis, the ATTE building out an entire diorama or battlefield, army
totally.
building, that kind of thing. And this is just another example of a product that's coming out timed extremely well, and it'll be available right as this ATTE drops. And now you can pick up extra product for the other side of the battle and load
Mhm.
up on stuff. I know those tanks were not super easy to get, so it's
Yeah.
nice to have those back out for people. So it's cool. I love seeing the coordination around a new flagship product like that. It's great. Synergy seems like a stupid
Yeah.
word to use, but that's the case. I mean, it's cool. It excites me to see what could be the next flagship product that they're basing a several products within a wave around building out a massive
Well,
thing like the Battle of Geonosis.
I think we know, which is coming up here in a few slides, but here's a few pictures of the Infiltrator, which looks sweet. I mean, it looks so cool
They did
to get
great with this. It's awesome.
yeah, and you've
It's
got
a
Maul. I don't
it's
have
a
the
good
picture of it,
size.
but Maul has got actually like a cape that he's wearing. It's the same Maul figure, I believe, from Series 1.
I
He
think
just put
so,
a
but
cape on him.
what a great little, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And it's actually very similar to I think the original Black Series Darth Maul figure had the same thing where it
Yeah.
had the giant soft plastic cloak that
Mhm.
uh slipped over the figure.
Yep.
So it's really really cool
Yeah. He does have a lightsaber
to
on
have done
there.
that. I do so it's awesome we got the cloak. They didn't have to do that. I think
Yep.
what would have tipped it over the scales just a little bit is if this Maul they had replaced the arms with one with an ignited saber.
Yeah.
That would have been the icing on the cake for sure.
Yeah. That would definitely would have been cool.
Any
But then you
any
also get Qui-Gon in there too, where everybody was
mhm,
upset about not getting him in the bongo.
I know.
It's great to see
And
him
you had
have
to know he was coming. It
yeah,
you know, I
for
think
sure.
it makes sense that they're looking if they knew this product was coming, they've got to spread out as many main characters as they can because this is their chance to get episode 1 stuff out there. So, let's get as many main characters out there. And if the package doesn't allow for 3 figures in this size set, we'll take one, move it over here where it makes no sense to have anything else with Darth Maul's ship.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, agreed.
Obi-Wan, I mean, Qui-Gon's makes the most sense with that. So I'm really, really curious where they go from here, though. I've not heard if there's more or not. I was fairly certain that this one was coming. Now that we are beyond this one, no clue. So, do they have episode 1 releases scheduled for the whole year, or are we done with it? I don't know what it would be unless we see a Naboo
battle pack or something.
Yeah, or the the royal ship, something like that.
Well, there is going to be, apparently, based on some of the SKUs that we've seen, that for potential things coming would be an Armada Vulture droid, which I don't know what you could do with that. Maybe put a different droid in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I trust those after seeing what happened with Series 6, but
the
man,
flash speeder or the Gaian, I don't know. I mean, those are not necessarily super obscure, but probably not going to be one of those where everybody's going to say, "Damn, I need to get that."
Right, and I mean, especially with an exclusive like this, where Target's looking to make, I don't think they want the most obscure ship from episode 1 you could get. They need something that casual people are going to walk into a store and see and want, like the N1. The bongo, a lot of bongos sitting around. So that's an example of something that's a little more, a little more obscure.
Yeah.
That I don't know if your average person's going to want your average kid's going to come in and see that, or a collector's going to be like, "Oh man, I'm not into this, but I'm going to pick that up."
Right.
Those more broad ships. I think you see something with Darth Maul and it's like, okay, that's cool. N1, it's like everybody recognizes that. I don't know where you go from here. Other than
you really
the
can't.
Other than the royal, something to get Padme in there would be great.
But what could you do with that?
Padme,
although the one thing that would be really cool, to be perfectly honest, that they talked about before, Ben Quadraneras, yeah, right.
Another 2-pack.
Any pod racer would be awesome.
Another 2-pack would be amazing. I don't think those would sell super well.
No, the one thing you could do that they talked about, that one person on their team really wanted, was the little boat. That would be an awesome scout class vehicle, is the little boat thing with Padme.
Yeah, there's cool stuff you could do. I just and they're not going to release an exclusive $5 scout class thing, so I don't want it to be over. But I also have no clue where you go from here.
Yeah,
that makes sense financially for both of them. I hope we see something cool though.
Yeah, so this is a interesting comment here. With most of the mainline vehicles from the films have been done, with this line getting more into the obscure stuff like Galoob did at the end of Action Fleet. Yeah, with the EU, I think it's really interesting that with this line so far, we have gotten some pretty deep cuts. I mean, you got, I think, probably the biggest,
for better or worse.
Yeah, for the biggest influence for sure of this line up to this point has been the Tarkovsky Clone Wars cartoon from 2003. I mean, the battle tank, the Genevex, the 2 interceptors, Jedi interceptors. You got the
some of the stuff we haven't seen.
That's right.
Out, but were revealed.
Yep, the Geonosis Starfighter, Dirge. Yeah, there's a lot, which has been really cool. And then also with the Shadow V-Wing, as well as Vader's Jedi Interceptor, those are all, I mean, those are like 1 page or 2 pages of a comic book that had those images in it, and those came out, which I think is,
it's easy when it's repaints. I think,
for sure.
My guess is we will see less of that as time goes on, though.
Less of what? The deep cuts?
New deep cut molds, I would think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll see less of, and the Armada stuff kind of paints that picture as well.
Yeah.
But specifically the micro series stuff, the Clone Wars
Hmm.
um, 2D show, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see less of that and less really deep cut new molds.
Hmm.
But in terms of running out of things or the things that Action Fleet covered, you've also got to remember that we are constantly inundated with new Star Wars stuff all the time.
Hmm.
And we had how many years of animated shows since Action Fleet was here?
Yeah.
A
Right.
whole trilogy of movies, all the other ones, Disney Plus shows, and now, in a year or two, we'll have feature films coming back, maybe.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
there's always going to be new stuff. Now, how into it people are or how well it sells, I don't know. Mando's been the cash cow for several years now
Hmm.
for him. So I think there's a lot riding on this new movie, um, the Mando and Grogu movie. I think there's a lot riding on it financially for them. If the movie is great and people love it, you're just going to keep seeing, Mando stuff for the next 5 years. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Agreed.
I know in a lot of the lines, people are getting a little bit fatigued by some of the Mando stuff. So, but it's great. There's always new stuff I haven't seen anything in Acolyte that I'm like, I've got to have that.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree.
in terms of in terms of Micro Galaxy.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree. I
Damon
think.
just mentioned that. Yeah, there's been nothing that I've seen that I'm like, oh, that would be really cool. Now, whether it's the Acolyte or the Young Jedi Adventures cartoon,
Yeah, the
whatever it
Young
is,
Jedi Adventure's got some cool stuff.
they do. So there, in general, there are the designs for the those starfighters that are in the High Republic that the Jedi are flying.
Hmm.
I'm not even into the High Republic really, but I think
Yeah.
we saw a glimpse of one of those in the Acolyte, maybe just a quick glimpse of one. And I know they're featured quite a bit, and Hasbro's done some in the play school in their like preschool line for Young
Yeah.
Jedi Adventures. You can buy
Yep.
one. Yeah, the Vector Starfighter. The Vector Starfighter would be really cool. Now it's barely Acolyte related, but man, if Lucasfilm is feeding them ideas, that's just a really cool design, and I think that sells. It gives me Arc vibes. I think it's a cool design. I love it. I would love to pick that up if they're looking for something in kind of random media like that. That'd be great.
Yeah. T6 shuttle coming. Yes, that was hinted at San Diego Comic Con last year.
Yeah,
So
must be Series 7 at this point because
yeah.
we've heard nothing at all about it. My guess was it was going to come in this wave, and I guess I was just assuming it would be um
Me too.
Starship class. I think
Right.
I was just assuming it would be Starship class
It will
financially.
be.
It
I
makes the
think it
most
will be.
sense to be. I know people are going to say it's undersized maybe and stuff like that. It makes the most sense to put it in Starship class.
Agreed.
Just just realistically it does.
Yeah, it gives you
So,
more options to be able to move it and stuff like that. You can put more mechanisms in it as well as include a couple figures.
it's
So
not a $60 toy.
no.
It's not going to sell for $60.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it now, and I'll probably update that checklist at some point once we have a little more solid info, maybe after SDCC. But
Yeah.
I think you've got shipping with this wave is the Sith Infiltrator.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a stand-in for that slot. And then I think they're probably looking at it as, okay, we're shipping the Ghost and we're shipping the ATTE same time.
Two
So
big ones.
the ATTE is going to take up shelf space that a Starship would have occupied on the shelves. So my guess is they're kind of foregoing a Starship for that Dreadnought class ship.
Yeah.
which I'm totally okay with. I mean, it looks
I'll tell you
amazing.
what a great Starship class vehicle would be the Fondor for sure. The Hawkcraft is awesome.
Really cool. Didn't Max comment on that at some point last year?
Yeah. He said that if it plays a bigger role in season 2, it's possible, but part of the thing that you wanna consider too, as you throw out ideas of vehicles that you wanna see is the reuse capability. So, with the ATTE, even at being a $40 item, I mean, there are tons of versions of that as you could do, and the same thing with many of the other molds, but like the Pirate Snub Fighter, that's a one mold thing. I mean, you're only going to get one. Same thing with Grievous,
I'm shocked
Grievous
we're getting it,
Starfighter.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm pretty shocked that that one's coming. Now that may be Lucasfilm too. They have um I think I don't know what weight they have and what comes out. I know they can veto.
Yeah.
But I think it's always a good rule of thumb to look at what has come out in Lego,
Yeah.
because Lego can churn out stuff lightning quick.
Sure.
Whatever they've got with their software for engineering and the way they fabricate and use old molds for different pieces, they churn out product faster than anybody. And we've seen a lot of similar releases. Um, so I think when Lucasfilm encourages Lego to come out with certain things, they're probably getting the same info to some degree at Jazzwares as well. Um, I think one thing that would be, it would be cool to see the if we're getting the T6, we're getting the Snub Fighter, we've
Hmm.
got the Fang Fighter. It would be
Whatever
really cool to see the ship from Ahsoka,
whatever
those gold
Shin
fighters. Uh-huh.
Shin
Yeah,
Hati or whatever her thing. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
absolutely. Because
Yeah,
Lego
this is
had that set with the E-Wing, like
yep,
E-Wing and Shin's fighter.
yeah,
That's a great looking ship. That
for
looks
sure.
so cool. I think Jazzwares would knock that one out of the park. So I hope that's an Ahsoka release we're gonna see at some point.
Yeah.
And again, you can kind of look and see, okay, Hasbro's got an E-Wing coming now. It's like
Mhm.
Lucasfilm is kind of pushing certain things, so I don't think it's ever a bad idea to look at what's out there from Lego and things like that and say, okay, I could realistically see this come to Micro Galaxy because it's popping up other places.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is another good comment here. It sucks that every MGS X-Wing is chases or rares. Beyond Luke's X-Wing that came in Series 1, every single, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, every single chase, 1 in 5,000 is an X-Wing, as well as we have a rare
Wedge
X-Wing as well, which is
and
like,
Hera.
and Hera, it's like, come on, give us like, let us get some more X-Wings to build it out. Um,
I have there's two ways it could play out. I think a vault release, an
mhm,
exclusive vault release that is basically
all
um
X-Wings.
but it's like Rogue Squadron or
Oh yeah,
just
that would be
red.
sick.
It's just
That
literally
would
a
be
lineup
sweet.
of red team, red
Yeah.
squadron. I guess it's
Yep.
all just red squadron. That would be really really cool. Even if it's just 5
Hmm.
X-wings, you get one of those long packages like they've done, and it's just 5 X-wings lined up in there.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
pretty cool.
Now that I think that would be an amazing release that would sell just like that on there. Even better would be at some point, I think it'd be really cool if we could sunset this X-Wing mold that we've gotten a whole lot of use out of and introduce maybe next year or sometime, maybe introduce a brand new ground up rework of the X-Wing, brand new
Hmm.
mold, and introduce it by doing a vault exclusive um, set like that
Yeah.
with the new mold. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen them totally redo a mold like that. I think it would be great if we saw a new A-wing at some point, but
Oh my god, they have to do that for sure. It's
who
possible. It,
knows?
it was mentioned that it is possible. The twin pod as well, which I would say is like between the land speeder and the cloud car, those are like the two that I'm the least interested in of the line that have been released. But I certainly get it from the
The
OG
land
collection.
speeder?
Yeah, like I've got like I have so many land speeders from Action Fleet. It's going to be almost the exact same size as that, so it's kind of like
Sure.
whatever.
Um,
It's
it's
all the
such an
same.
I think it's such an iconic vehicle to the
Hmm.
property, though.
Oh yeah, for
And,
sure.
and
I
to,
mean,
Star,
I don't
to
disagree with
Star
that.
Wars and to Star Wars toys in general. I think it's just we've seen it in so many lines and so many scales. It's right up there with the X-wing. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
you think they're
hopefully
going
we
to
see a set.
come out with an LAAT C with the legs on that ATTE? It sure looks like they're going to have something that's going to connect to that.
I think that was probably by design, and at some point that was
Yeah,
it.
because the
It, gi-
one thing,
it gives them the option to do that. I think that gives them the option to do that. Now, where we sit now, do I think it'll actually come out? I'm slightly more skeptical of it. If you want to see it, my suggestion would be buy every ATTE you see, so they know how popular it is.
yeah,
If those fly off the shelves, they are way more likely to do a companion piece like that. If not, mm, who knows? It's 50-50 or less or worse.
well, the one thing that we have heard in the past, in previous interviews that were done in the past, was the yeah, that would be really cool to have an
Yep.
LAATC that actually
Yeah.
connects and lifts it up. And then also, if we had an LAAT that actually had fully closing doors instead of having the doors that are the half doors
Yep.
and with the shorter guns, it's like that all has been churning through there. So
And we're
it's
seeing
possible.
interconnectivity, with the ghost set and things like that. We're seeing some of that idea play out, and how the Phantom docks on the Ghost. We've got
Yeah,
any ship can dock on the sides of the Ghost. You know, it would be really, really cool, and I think there's a lot of people that would really love and appreciate that. I hope it's still in the cards,
yeah,
but I think the way to make sure that to give you a better chance is if that ATTE sells really, really well. You obviously are going to have a much better chance.
for sure. And agreed. Blue cloud card, that makes absolute perfect sense for them to do that as a chase or a rare, is do the orange one as the standard, do a blue one, which is like that's a super easy shoe in one. They should do that. That would be perfect to do as literally as the chase, as the 1 in 5,000. I think you're gonna have so few people be as interested in that one, but
Interesting to me that it's been
it's cool.
pushed to at least two waves now for as being a
Yeah, very
original
true.
trilogy ship. I get the Clone Wars stuff, to be honest. Um, I
That's
kind of
good.
get some of those getting pushed down the road a little bit.
Yeah,
For an
absolutely.
original trilogy ship, that surprises me a little
Hmm.
that it's been pushed that long. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd love it. I feel like I'm seeing more and more comments about, hey, where is it? I hope that comes out. So it definitely, people still
want it.
are excited for it and want it. Maybe
Yeah.
it's Series 7, maybe it's Series 8. I don't know. But
I just hope
I don't think they're going to scrap an original trilogy ship. That I really don't. So
they already had it. I mean, they showed it at San Diego Comic Con. They
yeah.
literally had it there. But
Now,
I
if the
just
tooling
hope
had
that it
been
comes
made,
to
who knows how far along in if they had made the tooling or anything like that. I don't know. But my
yeah,
guess is an original trilogy ship like that is going to come.
and it's got to have two pilots. I think that would be a total mistake to do it as one.
Oh
Total
man,
mistake.
I agree. I agree.
I
But
mean, you got the E-wing. The E-wing has got now which I'm surprised it's going to fit inside that box, but that seems kind of
Pilot
odd that
and
they're
droid,
putting it
right?
in. Yeah, you get a pilot and droid, so it makes sense to do too.
And you've got 2 figures in the skiff.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, you should be able to get it. But
So we'll see. The
we
skiff's
spend a lot of
a
time
little
talking about
smaller.
all this other stuff. The thing I really want to talk about is this one. I mean, this thing
Oh
is
man.
sick. Getting the Ghost with in this battle pack already. I mean, I was thinking, okay, it's super exciting to get the Ghost. It's going to be a target. We're going to get that thing, and it's going to be really cool. I've already got the Phantom. I'm ready for it.
Yep. Oh
And then we
man.
get this to be able to launch as a pre-order that early was so cool. And not only that, but the fact that this thing has got a stand.
A
This is the best
stand.
picture that we actually have of this with the Phantom on it. There's been other
I
pictures of
agree,
it.
and I hope this is a final production
Yeah,
version. We'll see.
it looks
But
like it.
I would hope that's the case. You never know with the way the photo's been edited.
Mhm.
Just the contrast and everything like that. Tweaking that contrast or black level or whatever can really change those panel lining accents on there. So it's
Mm,
hard to know exactly what that's going to look like in hand.
yeah.
And I'm also curious if there's going to be a difference in wash and panel lining between the 2 releases. We obviously know that there's some
Mhm.
uh, scoring, some battle damage that's on that version of the ship.
Yeah.
Is that a heavier wash and darker panel lines than the standard release? It would be cool to me if that was the case, just to
Yeah.
give it a little variance, change it up just a little bit.
Then you get you're gonna get 2 different Y wings. So the one thing that is important about the Y wings is there is one that's different. I put this picture up here because you can see the R5 droid that's in there, which is really cool to see R5. So one of the things that was also mentioned previously in the past was the N1 starfighter being able to have a droid port that popped out and potentially getting another Mando N1 starfighter that actually has R5 that can go in that port.
And even though it was pretty available on Amazon,
Yeah,
um, not super easy to find in stores after those first few shipments went through Target.
sure.
Um, so it would be a pretty reasonable re-release. Maybe you make it a rare. I don't
Yeah,
know, but
that'd be good too.
I think that's one that would be great to get back out there, but to change it up with a droid port instead of the dome.
Yeah. And then again, here is the back of the box. This is hard to see on this actual image, but there is so much going on here. But it does actually
And
show the stand on the bottom.
I think that's why nobody noticed it, is because you're just inundated with so many features and tiny little things on there.
Hmm.
I didn't see anybody anywhere on any platform point that out until after the fact.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that tells us that it was packed in there. And really, if you're glancing at that, I don't think you immediately say, "Oh, that's a stand right there," because it's such a
Right.
small image.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah, and
and
it
and
doesn't
and and they
say
were
it
so
in the
smart. They were so
features.
smart to get those images out and upload them to Amazon, because I know that pushed a lot of people over the edge from, oh man, I'm gonna get this instead of the cheaper standard release, because a stand for a ship that big is
Hmm.
really important. It's a great add-in for that
Yeah.
set. So anybody that was like, oh, I've got several Y wings already. I already bought a Phantom from Target, or pre-ordered one from Amazon.
Yep.
I think a lot of people, when they saw that stand, were like, okay, this is the set I'm gonna get, because look at that. That's amazing. And my guess is there's probably a little wiggle room with the price point and the exclusiveness of it, to pack in something like that. But I think the thought process is anything that's come with a stand so far has not been able to stand on its own, essentially. Even the interceptor, it can tip over, tip, over. That's why we got the little sled that it sits in. That's been the reason anything other than the evasive action set has had a stand, is because it can't land or sit on its own. And I think their thinking is the Y-wing and the docking aspect of this set in particular is so important to this set that we've got to elevate the ship off the ground so that it can be displayed with ships docked onto the side, as the set's kind of intended to do. And my guess is if that's sitting on its bottom and landing gear there, those don't have the clearance to dock.
How do the Y-wings dock in and out of when they're on this? So there's a little piece on here. It shows it on this next picture. Oh, right there is actually a good one. If you look at the very top of the picture above where they're sitting at the table, you can see that there is a little piece that sticks inside of that hallway. What I'm guessing is happening, and I think we see it on this next one, is that part just rotates out.
I think he means, how does a pilot physically get from their cockpit
get out of their ship when docked? Oh yeah. They float out in space.
Yeah, I've seen a few people ask that. How did it happen in the show, realistically? I don't know.
I have no idea. That's a good question. They probably just got sucked in. They pulled up to the side, and then I guess you could pull up to like their docking thing, go in, and then have the droid pilot the ship and dock it on the side of the ship. So yeah, I don't think they actually show it, but hey, what's up? Good evening. Thanks for joining. Yeah,
Luke,
so this is
I don't think it slides outwards, right? I think it just comes out and flips around, correct? You just flip that piece around.
Yep.
That's my guess from looking at it, is you just flip the piece around. I don't think it actually slides.
Under the Ghost in the cargo bay. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yes. Yeah, so the one thing that has been interesting as we've been looking at this for so long, I've looked at so many pictures for so long with this because I'm so excited about it, is we haven't seen the underside of the actual ship yet.
And it's been found in store, correct? We've had one or two people find them in store.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has made it out of the store because of that street date and potentially being register locked.
Yeah.
So nobody's made it out of the store that I've seen, but it has been found. And I wish I haven't pulled those images, but so whoever found it took a lot better images of the figures. So it was cool to see the detail and paint apps up close on those.
Yeah.
Damon, was that you that found them?
Damon did find them, yeah. But I haven't seen the underside of the vehicle, because the one thing that I have seen is in every picture that it has where it's sitting down, it has the landing gear sitting out on the side, which makes me believe that that cargo bay that's sitting underneath it actually sticks out of the bottom of the ship. So like if you had the ship, long ways like this, the bottom would kind of go over like this, and then it would drop down like that, and that's where that little entrance is, which again, I haven't seen the bottom of it, so don't really know. But
what a great ship.
Yeah, so hey Kevin, love your videos, watch your entertainment. Awesome, thanks for tuning in and watching. Appreciate that. I'll keep them coming.
Can you think of anything they could have done to this to take it to another level or have made it better? I mean,
no.
For this price point, they killed this, right?
Yeah.
It's got everything. Literally the only did we in those interior shots, it's harder between the HasLab and this in my mind. It's always hard to remember the interior shots. Is there paint deco on any of the walls? Did they get the graffiti on the walls?
They did.
I thought I remembered that being a thing in one or
you
two.
You can see it there on the top. They have stickers in there.
Man, they killed it. It
For sure.
is it is amazing. And I'm sure this was being developed probably alongside the HasLab. But when it was revealed, I think they did this in a vacuum to some
Hmm.
extent. They didn't have, they couldn't, there was no homework to steal on
Yeah.
this one. This is something they developed, on their own. And man, I don't know what more. There is one, the one tiny, tiny, tiny little thing is if they could have painted the seats,
Yeah. Yeah.
or at least painted Sabine's the little checker racing
Yeah.
design on her seat. That would have been cool. But
Okay.
man, this is an amazing release, and the fact that the fact that the Phantoms dock at all, I've seen people that that you can nitpick that, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
You're free to nitpick it, but
Right.
it works. It actually docks. They
It
didn't
does.
have to make that happen. And if the Phantom were much smaller, it wouldn't be a very playable item on its own either,
Correct.
right?
Agreed. Yeah, that I mean that I think is probably the biggest part of it. So I've been watching the show here recently, and definitely the Phantom docks in between those rear engines. But
Mhm.
in order for you could, and I've been thinking about this too, of like, could I potentially cut the bottom off of the Phantom to make it, sit down a little bit lower on the back? But yeah, I mean, you have the option of either having a functional vehicle where you're going to have the Phantom and then it actually works
Yep.
and it docks, or you're going to have a scenario where you have to make the Ghost so massively big that it just throws everybody out the door. And the price point
And
on
then
it, I
it's
think,
not
is
really
great.
playable, or it's a,
No,
yeah,
for
not,
sure.
the Ghost by itself is 89 or 99.
Hmm.
Um they they have just absolutely knocked the assault class ships out of the park. The
Yeah,
ATAT is incredible.
yeah, it is.
It
Yep.
has everything I could want. Well, neck rubber thing aside, it's
Minus that. Yep.
absolutely incredible. So well engineered, so playable, and it looks
Mhm.
great. The Hoth one is perfect. I love the Hoth set one.
Yeah.
Um,
You're talking about the which one? The Vault one?
yeah, the one from the Vault's perfect. It's
The
so
Vault
good.
one's great.
And then you've got this where it's like I can't even think of what they could have done to have elevated this at this price point.
Hmm.
It's incredible. And I'm curious where they go. What's the next us, the ATTE being Dreadnought
Yep.
also looks amazing. I'm not the biggest I wouldn't say fan, but the electronics don't do that much for me. It's fine. Um
Yeah.
so I love the idea of the um I love the idea of the Dreadnought class being larger ships that can kind of forego the extra cost of electronics.
Hmm.
And man, those two classes are like, you know,
They're awesome.
I think the bigger the ships get in this line, it's like this is where the line shines, is where you have really detailed, great looking ships, but they're like insanely playable. The playability of some of these is awesome. You yank off a side, and it's like that you can play a whole scene out in there.
Right.
And it's amazing. And people kind of have to understand that in the real world and in retail stores, these ships have got to fit into different SKU and box sizes. And the fact that they're trying to make these different, in reality, every ship would be a different size, a different price point. It would have to be a different SKU. Packaging would be different for every ship. Having these five different levels, and what, maybe six now, I guess, with Dreadnought potentially. Um,
Mhm.
Man, they're able to find a way to fit these different size ships in there, and I think you can nitpick that to some degree, but what a great job of fitting these ships into something that works at mass market retail. And man,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
agree.
wait to find that ghost. My excitement for the HasLab is definitely curbed somewhat by this because it's so playable. I mean, I'll love having the TVC figures. I don't know if I can bring myself to open them, but having a massive ship that's a little too big to
Mhm.
do much with, the fact that this is going to be just the perfect size to hold and to manipulate and spin around, look at,
Yeah.
um, man, it's really exciting. I don't know what the next assault class or dreadnought class would be,
Thanks for
but
joining. Thanks for
they
joining,
killed
buddy, in
it.
the bricks. Appreciate it.
Kudos to the team. I don't know if that's Gihoon or the who that is working on these, but
Yeah, I'd agree.
the ghost is something they should definitely be proud of.
They did awesome for sure. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Lando's Falcon would be one that certainly could be. I don't know that they could roll that out as like the next huge assault class release, but that certainly
Is it
seems like
popular enough? I mean,
I would say I think it probably would be popular enough that it would sell if you released it. If
because
you
it's
released it
80
not as
percent reuse,
what's that?
because it's 80% reuse, something like that, probably.
Exactly. I mean, we've got 4 versions of the Falcon already, so it makes sense to add that one in there at some point. You get the Han Solo, Lando, you can get the other droid that comes in there. I don't know, L whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
You could get Kira in there as well.
L3 maybe.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, and then you get your there's your 4 figures. I mean, that seems like that could be like a potential vault
Vault,
release or like
sure.
a Disney Galaxy's Edge type of thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for Vault to have something a little more substantial in the way of exclusivity. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So far, all we've really gotten is a repainted snow speeder, right? We got a snow speeder that's a variant, and then
yep.
we have an ATST that has the um, somewhat controversial forest deco on it.
Hey man, I like that deco.
I tell you what, I've never been a hater of it. I
Yep.
like it a lot more in conjunction with the indoor ATAT.
Yeah.
I think
Oh
when you
man, I got some.
start putting those pieces together, it kind of starts to click and makes a lot more sense. And with the art of some of that stuff, putting that backdrop with the cardboard behind them, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I would love to see something slightly more substantial on Vault. That's just a little more interesting
dude,
in
Tim
terms
has
of
got some
something new.
pictures. He's got some pictures of the ATTE up out of the box. Man, this thing looks sweet.
Yeah, I saw some earlier. I think maybe Chad Admiral Thrawn or somebody like that had posted some.
Yeah,
I saw another thread earlier today with it. It looks great.
it looks
Um,
really cool.
the
Man,
finish looks great, right?
yeah,
I think they killed the wash and the weathering. It came together really well. It looks great. Just the finish on it is really cool.
yeah, I
Would
would totally
love
agree.
to find one
I know. Me too.
maybe tomorrow.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
And then you got to worry about schmoozing somebody into letting you leave the store with it.
Yes. That's another problem for another day, I guess. But so we've got what else is going on? We got still have some Series 4 light armor class actually is rolling out. So I know for sure that that has been showing up, which has been great.
No, I thought you meant Vault.
And no, but yes, that is coming up. So that was another one. I think
Boys
I
and
missed that.
girls, buckle up because there's going to be a lot of upset people at the end of
Yes,
this
there
month,
are.
I think, for potentially two reasons.
Yeah.
You've got what I think will be the fastest item to sell in
Yep.
the Series 4 light armor. We assume the
Hmm.
next thing will be Series 4 light armor
Yep.
with the Royal Guard TIE interceptor and the land speeder that
Yep.
were one of those barely available, one of them not available.
Yep.
That is going to sell so fast. Um, and then you've potentially got at some point, maybe this month, Comic-Con exclusives being added to Vault in limited quantities.
Hmm.
So, oh man, it's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
oh man, a
What
lot of
what is a
interesting
micro
dialogue.
fleet? I'm not sure I understand the question there.
I think he's asking about the live stream, the name or your name,
Oh, just a
the
fleet of
group.
micro vehicles. That would be all. Um, yeah, I think Series 4, it'll be interesting to see what Wednesday it comes out because previously
5
it's
in this
been,
month, right?
yeah, we got 5. It's been the last Wednesday of each month. So yeah, I don't know whether that'll be the 24th or the 31st.
Yeah. Hopefully not the 31st. I don't know. We'll see. I'd love
Yeah,
to have it a little sooner.
agreed. Yeah, I hope bot protection is in place on this one.
So
Gosh,
this
who
is something
knows?
I've wondered. I wonder in general, do people really into the line, would they prefer a limit of 1 or a limit of 2? Because I know there's so many people that want these to keep them in the box, never touch it, whatever. And then people want to rip into other ones. So there are a lot of people that buy 2 of them for themselves.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say 2 personally.
you would prefer limit 2 versus limit
I
1.
think now that's just me personally that I would like to. I think that from the ability to be able to get these out to everybody, if Jazzwares is concerned about getting it out to everybody, then yes, limit it to 1. I would say I have a hard time believing that they would do that though. I mean, they want to
They
sell
haven't
this
done it yet.
super fast.
They've only done limit 2 so
Yeah.
far. I think if they were approached by a few people and a case was made that a limit 1, I'm just curious. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that I personally have any sway over that or not, or could get them to do that. But for something like this, and even next month with Bigs,
Yeah.
is that something that people would generally be happy with being limit 1, just so more people have access to this like
Right.
really in demand set that's probably gonna make some people upset.
Yeah, I think it would be challenging to go. I think, uh, again, just based off of what we know, so limit to 1. The way that they've been doing this is the limit will hold for 24 hours, and then after 24 hours, it then opens up and you can get as many as you
No
want,
limit, yeah,
no limit. So yeah, I think you do run into that
roughly, yeah, somewhere around
situation
there.
of the 3. Well, now I will say the Light Armor Class Series 3 problem that we ran into is different than what has happened with any of the others. It's that it opened up way too early, and so everybody could go in and get them. So when 12 o'clock hit, there weren't any available. That was the problem with Series 3. It would be interesting to see what would have happened had they launched Series 3 at 12 o'clock.
But it was still only a few minutes that it was up, so it was only a few minutes early.
But even still, with it being open a few minutes early, it was sold out at noon. I mean, it sold out in 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So
my
had
guess
it,
is we won't have that problem again. We haven't
yeah,
seen that happen since then. Those timers have worked properly
yeah,
since then.
it's
And
kind of,
and really they're 30 seconds to a minute late for everything to update,
right.
right? Once they make
Yeah,
a change on the back end for that to reflect to the end user, there's a delay, I think. So just
agreed.
seems like the way that website works. um
Yeah, I tried to
at
do that here with Series 4. It was one of the reasons why I wanted to get the Series 4 scout classes to see
Mm-hmm.
how quickly does it update. There was definitely a delay.
Yep.
It didn't pop up right away, and then I had to exit out of the actual page I was on because I was on the site page, like the
Mm-hmm.
actual item page. Exit out, go back in through
Yep.
the actual click on the Star Wars Micro Galaxy thing, and then go in. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
we'll see.
we've said it every time, but
Mhm.
if you really want this, I would be there early. I
Yeah,
would be logged in. I would have Apple Pay, shop account, whatever you're going to use, if not multiple things. I would have that ready to go, filled out, um, where that autofill can take over and process that order as fast as possible.
mhm.
Um, I'd have your browser remember your login and password and have that saved. Um, because the way they have it set up right now, the checkout process can go really fast if you've
Yeah,
got that set up.
can.
Mine seems to be defaulting to shop right now. So
Yeah,
if you can have all your info, your email address, your payment info, um, physical address, everything already in there, shop is really, really fast at
super
just
fast.
blazing through that checkout. Um,
Shop was only one click. Apple
yeah,
Pay, you
man.
got to select Apple Pay, then
Yeah.
you have to double click on the side.
Yeah, I've used Shop every time and it's been really, really fast. I would be there logged in early on a phone and a browser and be refreshing at 5 till at
Yeah,
least.
for sure. Yep, I certainly
And
will be as well.
good luck.
I know.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
between the two, it'll be interesting to see too what happens afterwards. Again, I think
Well,
you and
and
I have
remember,
talked.
a lot of people ate it on scalping the Series 3 one.
Oh my
You know,
gosh,
people
yeah,
lost money on that. So
for
there are
sure.
people who tried to make a quick buck on the Series 3 set, light armor set, that hopefully are not going to be as enticed with trying that again with Series 4. I hope that's the case. I also hope that they may have done something in the back end to stop people ordering multiple orders. So say the limit's 1 or the limit's 2. I think people can still go in and order 2, order 2, order 2,
Mhm.
order 2.
Right.
Nothing is stopping that right now, which is a little bit of a bummer. The problem is, with the amount of things that have stayed available on Vault for as long as they've stayed on Vault, it's really not to their benefit to do that. I think that
Mhm.
1 or 2 Star Wars item are the only things that have really sold out quickly. And really nothing except that one set has sold out really, really quickly. I
Yeah.
think maybe the Malakili Black, one of those wrestling figures in that
Yep.
initial drop, sold out fairly fast.
Yeah, and that was a
Um,
pretty low run as well. I think it was another 1,500 run,
yeah.
something
So,
like.
man, that would be my advice to anybody who really wants it. Just be there early and be logged in, have shop fully filled out, and you can get through that process really quick. I think
Yeah.
anybody dedicated enough like that hopefully is going to have access to it. I'm also hoping that the SDCC exclusives go up on a different day than the normal vault drop, just
Mhm.
because you're going to run into issues if you've got to go back and add several
Yeah,
different items to your cart. That's where things might get tricky.
for sure.
Is trying to throw a bunch of items in your cart that you're having to go back and grab and add. So it would be my preference if we've got our normal vault drop, and maybe they do it on the 4th, the announce it the 3rd, do the vault drop on the 4th Wednesday, and maybe that 5th Wednesday post SDCC
Mm,
is where they list the exclusives that Wednesday after Comic Con has ended.
yeah,
So then you've got 2 weeks there with items going up. But I would
right.
definitely prefer to have that go up at a different time where I'm not racing to add multiple items to my cart and potentially losing out on one or all of them. Because again, I assume those exclusives will be super limited quantities and they're going to go super, super quick. I don't think anybody has any clue what the items are yet. All
No,
I've heard is that one
it's
person I
awesome.
talked to was really excited about them, thought
Yeah,
they were the best ones yet, but I have no idea what it is. So
agreed. I've heard
we'll
similar.
see.
Yep, it'll
And
be
it should be
interesting.
soon. I don't know if you saw earlier, but Jeremy
Yeah.
Jeremy Padower from Jazzwares basically teased in a tweet yesterday that the reveals are coming really, really soon. And he included Jazzwares and Jazzwares Vault in his tweet. So I think that's where a lot of people are assuming that there's a really good chance that these do pop up on Vault. And the whole idea of them having an e-commerce site in general was first brought up by him referencing SDCC exclusives. That was the first mention anywhere that I saw of a Jazzwares commerce site, e-commerce
Hmm.
site. So I think that definitely is in their mind, and hopefully we see some of those, and people that can't make it out to San Diego have at least a little bit of a shot at potentially getting them.
Yep,
If
I'll
not,
agree.
I'll see you on eBay like the last 2 years.
Yeah, the eBay one for sure. I would say it's like generally if you can find it around $100, that's like a good deal. So I wouldn't wait a whole lot on it going a lot
I
lower
hope
than
it's
that.
more
So
than 500 this time. I really hope they up the numbers. 500's
yeah,
upsettingly low.
it is for sure. Although with the storyboard series, excuse me, storyboard series, um, there were some of them that were more popular than the others, but it was really cool. The only thing that I don't like about the storyboard series is the vehicle is really cool and the packaging is amazing, but you can't really display the packaging to be able to see all of what it is. The little hollow foil thing that they have on the inside of the
Uh
package
huh.
is so cool, but the artwork on the outside of the box is also really cool. And then when you take
The
the ship
on,
out,
on the sleeve, you mean?
yeah, when you
See,
take the ship out of
I
it, then
just
it doesn't look
removed the
very good anymore.
sleeves. I think they're cool without the sleeve.
Oh
Right,
yeah, for
just the
sure. Yeah,
box. I think because the way they printed
right.
that on the back of
Exactly.
the packaging, it looks really cool. You're not seeing the sketch that's on the slip, which is it looks
Mhm.
great. But I think that's
Yeah,
probably the best way to display them is without that slip on there. I've got mine hanging out
nice.
on top of that sign there. You can't really see it, can you?
Okay. No, not
They're
really.
lined up on top of that Star Wars sign. Looking
Nice.
real
Yeah,
cool.
we were talking about it earlier, Danny. I think that ATTE is out there everywhere right now. I think all stores, probably all across the U.S., have them. Um, there is a UPC. I thought I had put that on one of the slides, but I did not for that the ATTE. But you certainly can check out on the group. We've got some people that have posted that UPC, so you can just have somebody scan it. It does say that it's street dated for the 21st, but it will still check out at the register. So if you wanted to get that,
For the
go
people
for
talking about storyboard, I can't remember specifically where I heard it, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that it is not
it. It's yeah,
storyboard this year.
I don't think it is as well from what I've heard as
I think
well.
they've done something different than storyboard. Storyboard might show up again, but I think this year is something different, and they're pretty
I
excited
just
about it.
I just hope it's one and not four.
I think it's multiple again. I hope it's not three and really four when you add in the other item. Four
Yeah,
was a lot for people that are eBaying it. Four was a lot to grab from eBay for sure.
yeah,
And man, even that little speeder ended up it's well over 100 now.
right.
That's the
Yeah,
only
none of
one
the
I
other
never
ones are
grabbed.
none of the other ones have gone up very much after that very beginning.
Which is funny because there's more speeders in the wild than those other ships.
Yeah.
I think there
Any guesstimates for the Fang fighter? Will Amazon? No. I mean, Amazon, it's been, for whatever reason, it's been very inconsistent here over the past 6 or 8 months with what items go up and when they go up. We had that happen with light armor class for Series 5,
it
where
really
it was
feels like they're only
all over.
coordinating the larger items like the Ghost, ATTE,
Phantom. Well, the
things
ATTE
like
wasn't
that.
up on Amazon, was it? I
Yes.
don't.
It
It
didn't
was
it
not
go
in the US.
didn't it go up at midnight that one night?
I don't think it was in the US because it was on Target. I've got it pre-ordered on Target.
The ATTE?
Yeah. But yeah, the other stuff, they had the Phantom. They haven't put the Gauntlet up there. They haven't put the other the Fang Fighter up there as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the deal is. No way it's worth paying $100 plus for. Yeah, for sure. It's really mainly for your hardcore collectors, I would say, is what you'll end up getting. I got the AT pre-ordered on Amazon. Okay, maybe it
Yeah,
was up on Amazon.
remember it went up, it showed up. It was one of those first
Yeah.
items that showed up on a storefront and was difficult to check out with. You know, you couldn't access a physical page for it, but it
No,
was
that was the
on.
Ghost.
You had to no, this was before. This was the first time that happened.
Oh, it
It
was.
was you had to remember you had to search
Oh no, I do
the
have it on there.
the Star Wars store.
Yeah, yeah.
You had to go to like Star Wars the page on Amazon and scroll
Yes.
down and oh, there's the ATTE. It randomly popped up at midnight. And I am not sure if that was intentional or not. Um,
Yeah.
that was
October
not.
2nd. That's when it
Yeah,
says it's showing up.
yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
Hopefully, man. Yeah, all that Amazon stuff, man. I don't know what's happening. In the past, they've had a pretty good track record for getting stuff out
Hmm.
even before retail. Because you've had the price of that initial pre-order allotment spike on eBay from Amazon,
Yeah.
and then sometimes in between them getting the next wave of fulfillment in, it'll start to trickle into retail. But the last
Hmm.
wave or two, yeah, they've lagged behind a little bit. I'm not sure if that's from the Jazzwares team coordinating more with physical retail stores, or if they just have a better relationship now with Target. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I would love for Amazon. I mean, it's a lot easier for Amazon just to get them in where I don't have to go hunt around at Target stores. I would love for Amazon to continue to get stuff in early,
Yeah. And for Target to ship their pre-orders before they ship the stuff to the store. That would be
or at
freaking
least
awesome.
around, yeah, or at
Yeah.
least around that. Yeah, that's what always happens.
Because it's not going to be, I mean, it's still showing the 29th is when it would arrive. I mean, obviously, you go check out with it now and cancel that order, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild, man.
Yeah, ever changing. We'll see. Hope I My guess is those dates will move up. I hope.
Hmm.
Um,
I hope
we'll
so
see.
as well.
Now the ghost, who knows? I don't know. That could be intentional. Um, because you don't want to cannibalize your retail partners by
Mm,
having that really cool ghost set come out before or at the same time as the standard ghost.
yeah.
That would be my thinking. Is you don't want to take too big of a chunk out of those retail sales.
Yeah.
So
Gosh, I can't wait to get
I
both of
get
them.
delaying that release until after it's kind of on a lot of the shelves. That makes
Mm,
sense to me. But yeah, the rest of Series 6, ATTE, man, I'd love to just pre-order those or order those and
mhm.
have them show up instead of driving around everywhere trying to find them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, and then you got everything that's beyond Series 6 at this point would just be a total guess. there are some things that we have some pretty good indications for. I think the Armada is going to continue to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an Armada vehicle in light armor class and starfighter class for many series as we keep
That's
going.
my assumption is going forward, those are going to be packed in there
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
so you'll
That's
get,
kind of what I'm thinking.
which is really not
Less new,
terrible.
less new molds.
Yeah, and it's not terrible. I think, like we've talked about before, which I think is always a challenging one, is the profitability of the line. If you keep pushing out a bunch of new
Yep.
molds all the time, you have to sell so many of those units to be able to make up the cost of, all
And
of the.
fatigue on the wallet. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
think there's not what other line has the amount of new product that shipped in a wave that this
yeah,
line has.
it's a
Vintage
lot.
collection or Black Series, what any figure, you're getting a new wave of figures, but we're not getting one new one new case of figures. We're getting 4 new waves at one time, essentially, with all these different SKU sizes.
Yeah,
So there's some fatigue on people's wallet when that happens. Production, that's a lot of stress on production to have all those new molds and get all those new molds up. So while obviously new would be awesome, there's a lot of, you can reasonably look at that and say, okay, that makes sense for people's wallets to spread out new like that, with slightly smaller waves. Because man, they've put out so many items already. They've been out 2 years, and we're at like, what are we probably pushing 150 already?
yeah, I think so. That's about right.
That's an insane amount of product for people to buy and for them to produce. So I think in a way the repaints make sense. Maybe not. The original lineup for Series 5 was massive. I think there were 6 or 7 ships in each wave, right? In each class size.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just adding this up right now. The this series 6, if you just
mhm.
got one of everything and you were able to get it at retail, this is including up to the ghost, not including the battle pack, you're looking at $300
And you're
for all
doing
of it.
that, and you're doing that 3 times a year at least.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Now
you're
you throw
spending
in
a
the battle
thousand
pack.
bucks,
Yeah, you throw in the battle pack and then the exclusives in there. Battle pack's 115.
and
So
you're
that puts you at
well over 1,000 a year on
four.
that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think it's I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for either side what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, and to me, it seems like they might be trying to hit a stride of maybe 2 new molds per um, per class size per wave, maybe at least in terms of light armor and the starfighters. I think if you're hitting 2 new molds, I think that's a decent. You're getting 2 molds and a repaint here or there.
Yeah, for
I'm not
sure.
mad about that. I'm not mad
No,
about
I
that.
mean,
Especially, kind of what they were what some of those people in here were talking about earlier. I'm not afraid of them running out of content, but that helps. Slowing down a little bit certainly helps. Now,
and
I do hope I'm fine with the waves, the entire waves shrinking some, but I do hope they continue to hit at least 3 of those waves a year, in
mhm,
terms of like a spring, summer, and fall holiday ish
right.
schedule. I think that would be really nice if they could hold that together and keep hitting those release windows.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, there's so many repaints that you could do on so many of the things that they have out there right now. I mean,
Or even
even with
slight
the battle
tweaks.
tank, the Trade Federation battle
Mm-hmm.
tank, you could there's a blue one and a brown one, and you could do like there's so many other things that you could do. So yeah, there's a lot of great opportunity out there. I hope that it just continues to keep rolling, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. There's still a lot that actually was already talked about that we haven't seen. We got the silencer, uh,
We there and who knows
the
what, because
silencer. Yep.
the Series 6 items that are in the retailers systems that kind of came out did not perfectly line up with the wave that we saw come out.
Oh
So
yeah.
who know, I think I don't think people necessarily need to take those UPCs as gospel in that are out there. Who knows what they could have tweaked or done or new stuff. And honestly, that might be why we're at this point with Target where those UPCs aren't in their system, is
Hmm.
because they had old information and the lineup was tweaked at a point, in this process where that wasn't able to make it all the way down to the stores yet because things
Hmm.
were changed so last minute.
Yeah. Good
So who
point.
knows? There's some fun stuff out there. I don't necessarily know what's coming. I've seen conflicting info as well between, we've got some Target info, we've got a lot of the Walmart info. There's another retailer from the Netherlands I've seen info on, and not a lot of, there's some crossover, but who knows? I'm excited. I will say, I think from what I've gathered and heard, my guess is Comic Con will be slightly lighter on some of the reveals and news. I do think it's true they will probably have a couple things they tease. It's not like Celebration where they had their own panel. If there, I have been scrolling through the schedule and couldn't find the Jazzwares panel. I assume Jazzwares is going to have a panel again, but that would be like last year where it was shared across their brands, all their brands. So Micro Galaxy will have a small portion of a much larger show, and I don't know that they'll have the time because they'll have whatever they're going to reveal. It'll probably be Vault exclusives, potentially like teasing upcoming Vault exclusives that they're going to sell,
Hmm.
and maybe one or two new items. Just a small handful of new items, and then I think after, they just don't have the time to go through a whole lineup and really give it its due time. So
Yeah.
I think we'll see something later. That makes sense to me. That stuff will come out a little later um, from that. So I wouldn't expect a massive load of reveals from Comic Con. I think people ought to temper their expectations just a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, and kind of like Damon mentions here with Kylo Ren. So some of the items that were shown that we have not seen yet. Let me see if I can actually
And,
find
and
this.
is this where you're headed? There's two conflicting ships out there, right? In systems, I've seen what we saw at Celebration, which was the TIE
Silencer.
silencer.
Yep.
There is info in one of the retailers that says TIE Whisper.
Yep. Correct.
So, I,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
just going to go off of the
is
list
that
of
a
this.
is that a new item? I don't know. It could be. I'm curious what's going to actually show up. I actually think I prefer the TIE Whisper,
Yeah.
the Interceptor versus his other TIE fighter.
So I'll
I
go
think
over
it's
the
cool.
stuff that was shown on Celebration that we haven't got yet. So from Scout class was Anakin's swoop on Tatooine, Rey with her speeder, Dirge with the speeder, the Cloud Car, the Geonosian Starfighter, which would be light armor class, was both light armor class, and then Starfighter class, the V-19 Torrent, the TIE Silencer, and the battle damage First Order TIE Fighter with Poe and Finn. Those are the ones that we have not seen yet.
Have you
Um,
tried to
sure.
fit two figures into that ship?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah, they
work?
fit. Hmm.
It works well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
for sure.
I wondered if that had been a potentially why they maybe had pushed that back is because they realized two didn't fit in there
Yeah.
super well.
Now, here's another list that that'll be fun to talk through. I know you love when we do this, where it's like all of the stuff that's been mentioned over the years. Oh, let me see if I can. So, shuttle Tidarium, which I
Which is
think
interesting
will.
because it's been teased, but we've
Yep.
seen nothing official about it other than GameStop Canada has had a shuttle Tidarium pre-order in their system for quite a while.
Mm,
And
nice.
it's been up for several months. And we've seen nothing official on that or heard anything. And it's one of those things where could that just be the normal shuttle and somebody put that info in wrong just because even before this
Sure.
shuttle, the Series 4 shuttle came out, everybody just called it the shuttle Tidarium. A lot of
Yep.
people think the Lambda class and Tidarium, it's interchangeable for a lot of people. Did that info just kind of did those wires get crossed, or is there actually a second version of that ship coming
Yeah.
with different figures? Because really, they've already the Emperor shuttle should have had the gray stripe down the front. So there's not a
Yes.
lot they can do
Well, the one
on
thing
the
that.
exterior. They could put a wash on it, I guess,
Yeah.
but I mean that's
Yep.
it. And then you've got different figures, which are cool, but I mean those things are half off at a lot of Targets right now. I think Best Buy had them on sale at one point. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not sure what would happen in if that were
Yes,
to
the
come out.
exterior would definitely have more,
Weathering,
like, weathering on it. That was the thing that
sure.
was mentioned. More weathering, and then it has the droid port in there. Land speeder, that will be coming as just, like, a common vehicle that will be in, a two-pack of some sort. There's a Galaxy's Edge collaboration, potentially. A-Wing Return of the Jedi mold, maybe. Imperial Landing Craft, maybe T-16, TIE Defender, E-Wing. We've got Ghost with Phantom, Carson Teva X-Wing, Max Reed X-Wing, As Your Angel. I have a hard time believing they'll do that, but that's was talked about. Uh,
Hardcore people want it really bad, but yeah, I'm curious
yeah,
if that's a seller that your average Joe would just see and pick up in the store.
a U-Wing variant color. So that was another one that was mentioned multiple times
I
of
would love that.
the U-Wing in the blue. Um, the Ebon Hawk. The Outrider was one that was, uh, I know a lot of people have talked about it. And Outrider was one where it was like, probably not.
Discussed, not teased, right?
Yeah.
It
Probably
was
not unless it was some type of a crowd fund or something like that. But yes, more
and
than
man,
likely.
looking at this Cantina crowdfund, I'm not sure right now is the best time to try and start your first crowdfunded item.
Yeah.
It just
And I wouldn't do it as an Outrider either.
I know there's so many people that want the Outrider. I think all the people that want the Outrider are already online saying they want the Outrider.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, eh, maybe it's a great crowdfund item because you'll know how many people actually want that. Um, I just think all the people who want that are already online saying they want it, and it's not something that your general public is gonna buy.
Yeah. So
And
then you got,
for it to be that large of a ship, that's a ton of money sunk into engineering, R&D. The tooling on that is crazy expensive. Um, it would
yeah.
be cool, but my gut is if you're gonna do a crowdfunded thing like that, at least for the first one or two, it would make more sense to do something like a Tantive 4 or Jabba's sail barge or something that's
Mm,
like, oh, it's original trilogy. Everybody from all eras is gonna want it. Yeah,
yeah.
who knows? But in general, I don't think right now would be a great time to try a crowdfund. I'm just seeing how the cantina was
So keep
mild
going down the list
reception.
here. We got Enfys Nest Speeder for Scout class. The Ahsoka shuttle, which we've already got, it's coming. The Boba Fett starship, the Return or the Empire Strikes Back version that would come with a stand, a flight stand,
Would
and the
love for that to
AT.
happen. That would be a great, to me, that's a great vault item or a store exclusive. Just getting out a repaint like that with minor tweaks and just different figures. I hope we do see that, but we're getting Boba Fett we're finally getting an original trilogy Boba Fett
Yeah.
with the cartoon set.
Yep.
So I'm less adamant that we see that other version of Boba Fett ship now that we'll at least have an original trilogy micro figure of him in hand.
And then you've got the last one is the ATDP Walker.
I hope that comes out.
Same here and that one had 2 pilots with it as well.
Right, for light armor, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of stuff that we found on those other sites where you've got the Vulture Armada, the TIE Whisper, the Seasi 10 Jedi Starfighter as the rare, Imperial Hover Tank, Maul's Night Brother, X-Wing Dagobah rare, which I know they've talked about doing the X-Wing Dagobah, so I'm sure we'll see that.
Also
at
a
some
great
point.
vault item.
Yeah, the ATDP, the Jandu Blood, which was Cad Bane's ship.
Don't do it. Oh man, financial disaster.
Yeah, I would say don't do that one.
Listen, it's cool. I would buy it. I think there's completionist and maybe some fans that would buy it. That one might be that's too obscure, I think. Oh man.
I would agree.
That's one of those you see and you're kind of like, oh, right? Does that not give you that feeling when you read that? Are you not
Yes.
worried about it? That one just makes me feel anxious.
Yeah, when we were going through,
don't
because
think
there
it would
was like
sell well.
it was like the Series 7, it was, the TIE Striker is another one. Like the Series 7, it was going to be the Jandu Blood, the V-19 turret, the Imperial Hover Tank, the Azure Angel, and Maul's Night Brother. It was like, that is going to tank. Do not do that all at once.
I
Spread
hope
those out.
I hope that is not the actual lineup. I'm fine with any number of those ships. I don't think those specific ships together in one wave, it worries me a little bit.
No turbo tank. It's going to be too big. That was the one thing that they talked about a lot. It's like they would love to do it, but it's massive. So I don't think they'll do that. But who knows? Phantom 2, I would say there's no way that we don't get a Phantom 2 and potentially a Ghost pack. I could see them doing it as the Ahsoka Ghost pack. That it'll be Ghost with the Phantom 2 and then the Ahsoka team. That makes sense.
I think I don't know that we've seen the end of the Ghost variants and sets yet. There's still a lot they could do with it. I don't know how into it people will be buying a bunch of ships that big. But yeah, they've got a Rebels Season 4 version with new microfigs and the Phantom 2 they could do. They can do an Ahsoka version with Phantom 2 and all new microfigs.
They could do they could do this.
They could do a Rise of Skywalker one.
Rise of Skywalker. Yep. With who would you put in there? You'd probably put in whatever. Oh man,
we don't know. We have no idea who is in there.
Name. What's the son's name?
Carson Teva could have been in there. We don't know.
Jason. Yeah.
Oh, he'd be pretty old. He'd be up there. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be Hera.
Carson Teva would be pretty old by then. Yeah.
And Zeb.
Who knows who was in there?
I know. They could just make it up.
It looks so cool. I'll buy, I'll do it. However many they put out, I'll get them. I'll keep buying them.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'll start giving them out to people as Christmas gifts and just keeping the new figures.
There you go.
Oh
That's the
man.
way to do it.
Yeah, TIE Striker's cool. I don't who knows if that's actually, if that's coming out, but
The one mention was they wanted to do every TIE fighter that they could
yeah.
do. So
Well, there's a lot that's been said,
yeah,
a lot of what you read just now and a lot of what's been said that
yeah.
um
I think
yeah, that was then
they have to do
and
a proper
this is
A-wing.
now.
Proper
Yeah,
A-wing,
I would
I would
love
say would
that.
be huge.
But yeah, I don't know. I would love to see Rogue One get some more love.
Hmm.
Could they rework anything from the existing ATAT to
Make the ATACT.
yeah,
Yeah, you
is it
could.
all scaled up too much, or could any of that
Um,
work? I don't know. Maybe just the head.
to be honest, I think it's supposed to be much bigger,
A lot
but
taller.
I don't think it makes that big a difference. Like, just
Yeah.
cut the thing out,
They're
put
not
a
totally in scale anyway, but yeah.
yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's fake. It's all fake, Cole.
Yeah.
It's not a real. It's
Man,
not a real vehicle.
that would tell that to don't tell that to me. Tell that to half the people in the Facebook groups.
Yeah,
Some people
it
need to
would
hear
be
that.
cool. It
Some
would be
people need to
cool.
hear that. That would really add a lot of value to
Oh
Antok.
yeah, the Thai brute.
Man, every single Rogue One item that comes out, Antok is just like boop 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 boop.
Right.
The value of him it increases exponentially the more of those you add.
They could definitely do. They could for sure do a Vault Series 2 re-release. They could do the whole thing because they don't have that many items in that one anyways. With all
That
of the
would be
droid deco, that would be
that would
sweet.
be amazing. I mean, that would sell instantly. But
Yep.
I, yeah, who knows, man. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know
brute
how
is
hard that is to go
huge.
back, pull all of that old tooling back out for some of these. Get an entire wave back into production just
Mhm.
for 1,500 pieces doesn't seem totally feasible.
Yeah, probably not.
But I'm just some idiot online. I don't know anything about manufacturing and how that works. So who knows? Maybe they can do that. But you
Yeah,
know,
I want to show the Thai brute really quick because I did this. This is a 172 scale brute. So you would have to just really shrink this thing down. But here's the brute, and
what
here
is
is the
that?
micro galaxy.
What is that?
This is a 3D printed um, version of the brute. You don't know what the Thai brute is? And
No.
this from Solo.
Really?
Yeah, it
When?
comes flying out of the when it gets chased. But yeah,
Really?
this thing is cool.
I got to
It's
tell
actually
you,
got
I enjoyed Solo, but I watched it maybe twice, and one of those was in the theaters, and one of those is when it first came out at home video, and that's been several years now. So
yeah. The
that looks great.
it's in the scene right before they go flying into the maelstrom. Um,
Okay.
when the Imperial he comes out and the Imperial Star Destroyer is right there. The brute drops out of the bottom and comes chasing after him.
Hmm.
So
You know,
it's
maybe
awesome.
maybe they'll make that one.
Yeah, I think you could do
I think a TIE Defender is
a TIE Defender has
much
to
more
be done.
likely. It's got to be coming. Man, I want it so bad. Although I've still got my action fleet, I can just put
Yeah.
that by the E-wings. But I would
Yep.
love to have a a Defender to go with those E-wings.
Yeah, I've got a handful of Defenders.
And you got to figure out you've got to get Thrawn in the line somehow,
Yep.
right?
Hold on. So here's the great thing about the Defender. So a lot of people don't even realize this, but there's 3 versions of the Defender. So you've got the Defender Elite. So there's my little Thrawn minifigure, which you could definitely do. So you got this one. with the red markings on it. And then you also have the TIE Defender Elite that has the yellow markings.
Not familiar with that at all.
From Rebels?
With the yellow?
Yep.
I don't
The
remember.
first one that they show is the one that's the yellow.
The
And then
first
they have
one?
the first one they show is the
It's like a
yellow.
prototype with yellow?
I don't know if it's the prototype or not, but it's just one of them. And then you have the red one. But yep. Hera versus the yellow TIE Defender. There you go.
Hey, anything they can do repaints of.
Exactly. And
It's
you could
more
easily
enticing.
throw Thrawn in as a secondary figure with the Defender.
Man, you got to get him in the line somehow. And I don't see them doing his shuttle. I would now that it's shown up
What shuttle?
in he's always in a shuttle and
The Imperial landing craft?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see him doing that. It'd be cool. I'd love it, but cool. I think for it to I think it's obscure for its size. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but it's
been in some stuff. I think it needs to show up again in something else for that to happen. That's why I feel better about the security. Tell me the name. The security fighters.
I don't know
that we've seen in Ahsoka now and in Clone Wars.
This guy.
Yeah, it looks great.
What security fighter?
Oh man, I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Way too big. Would love a Star Destroyer. Yeah, the capital ships. The capital ships are ones that. Yeah, for sure, no problem. Yeah, at some point I'm going to do actually a tour of this collection that I've got here, and I'll post it up. But yeah, the capital ships were something that was discussed about potentially doing. I don't believe that they have the licensing to do play sets, which is what they would really be doing in that scenario. Is if you had a Star Destroyer that could then be, you could take it apart and it would be a play set or something like that, similar to what they're doing with some of the other vehicles. But it obviously would be a totally different class of vehicle. And yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be in scale. So all of the people out there that are frustrated about the scale not being perfectly accurate would definitely be upset about that because you couldn't do it.
Kevin, this ship is all over Rebels. Tell me what this ship is. They steal one and they fly away in it with it's all over Lothal at the end, like season 4. It's in Mandalorian or Ahsoka on Coruscant.
Do you have a picture of it?
Not Ahsoka. I'm looking for it. It's hard to Google things when you don't know what it's called.
This is a ship that they steal.
I don't know if they steal it, but you know, they're it's on Lothal.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
They've shown up in live action now, which
Sentinel class.
I really isn't Thrawn's hangar full of them?
Of the one that I just showed?
The Chimera hangar is full of them. I think they are in Ahsoka. It's the one it drops all the stormtroopers.
Drops all the stormtroopers.
Kevin, I'm so sorry.
I'm going to season 4 here, man.
I'm just thumbing through all these images, feeling like just a total fake fan.
I'm going to series 4 here to see if I can find this ship you're talking about.
It's all over the place. It's sort of it's like a TIE security carrier.
Oh, the Gazantian. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Damon nailed it. Sort of.
Yeah, it's the Gazantian that it has the thing on the bottom of them where it flies with the.
Oh, no. No, 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 no. No.
You're not talking about
That's not what I'm talking about.
this thing.
No. No, no. This is in season 4, right where, spoiler, Kanan has some issues. They're chasing him. He's on top of the fuel tank.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about.
They're all
It's
over
the,
that season. They're
it's
all
the
over Ahsoka.
LAAT.
They
It's
drop all
LAAT.
of the.
This one.
What is it?
This is the Imperial LAAT, light armored. What is it? Light armored assault transport. This guy. Yeah.
There's 2 ships called LAAT.
Yep. This is the Imperial version of it.
Seriously?
Yes. But yeah, this one would be awesome.
See, look up here. Imperial police flyer, patrol gunship, a security ship. I was close. That is absolutely what I'm talking about. It's all over Star
Yes.
Wars.
So
They've got to come out with one of those.
This is what I told to Max. Is I said, what you need this, and what you could do is you could do Governor Price and Rook, and you could do a couple of stormtroopers, or you could do Thrawn. Like, yeah, one for sure.
That's probably Starfighter size, or that's an odd size, right? It's in between Starfighter and Starship.
You could
you know what it is. It's transport.
It is transport.
It would I don't think transport class is a thing anymore, but it's transport class size for
Here
sure.
It is relative
it's in
to
between.
Oops.
Yep. That would be perfect for transport class. Oh,
yeah,
I wish we
love
could get
this
that.
thing.
Man, that's what I want. I want that ship. Look at it. That's so cool. You can do an Ahsoka version. You can do a Rebels version. You can do. Is that not? That's in Jedi. One of the Jedi Survivor games, right?
I think so.
Fallen Order, Survivor.
Yeah, you could do tons with this one.
Oh, I hope they make that, Kevin. I don't get excited that often about stuff anymore like that, but
yeah,
I want to see it
for sure. No, I'm with you. Although I would probably just buy one and I'll just 3D print more.
What is that, Darkfire? What is that?
Yeah, this is a Darkfire 3D print.
Interesting. Resin?
This was actually the first one I got. Oh man, I had a great story about this one.
Dear Jazzwares, for Christmas, I want an LAAT, but not the one you've released 5 times. It's a different LAAT.
Yeah. So this one I got to do this this plastic like whatever window or whatever. The first time I made it, I like cut up little pieces of like literally a Micro Galaxy Squadron package, and I kind of tried to glue them in there, and it took forever. And I was like, you know what? I really need to get like a mold machine, like a vacuum mold. And I found one that there's only one out there that's inexpensive, and it was like $50 or something like that. And it works amazing. It works amazing. Because the great thing about Darkfire is on this specific release, on a couple of them, they actually started doing a vacuum mold part. So you would 3D print a vacuum mold part, and then you'd be able to vacuum mold the thing. And yeah, I did it on this.
That looks awesome. Really good.
Yeah, thanks. But they have it where you can. Dear
Kevin, for Christmas.
There you go, man.
3D print me one.
3D print one.
Look, that looks great, man. That's such a cool ship. We've got to get that.
I would agree. Yeah, it's a cool one.
So I'll send that one up the chain somehow.
For sure. I really wanted this one. And so I wanted to get the Legion version, but the Legion version is not the right size. So
sure.
And I was literally almost getting ready to join someone else's Patreon because they had this. and Darkfire released it, and I was like, thank goodness, because they're awesome. So yeah, yes, this is the one I got. The We Are Memories Keeps mold maker. That's the one that I got, which is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What percentage of that Darkfire stuff would you say could be done with a normal like FDM printer?
They do have some that they like separate them out into files. So
Mm-hmm.
some of them, the bigger releases, they'll have FDM, and then they'll have small, medium, and large resin printers, which is
Interesting.
amazing that they do that. Because yeah, the thing that I had been doing is I had been using the small versions, small printer versions, and it comes in like 50 different parts. I did that for the MTT that I did, and then I realized like I'm shrinking at 65%. So I went to the medium version, and it's like instead of printing it in 5 parts, it prints in 1. I'm
Is it
like,
a little higher res potentially
uh,
at the bigger file size like that?
no, it's the
Or are
same.
they're just scaling it and giving you a file with it pre-scaled?
Correct. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, the
Yeah, the
MTT,
MTT was cool. I'm sure that took you a while.
yeah. I want to print another one. I've got everything set up, but it's 8 sessions, or it's 8 prints to do it, and it's going to take like 7 hours or 8 hours each print. So I'm like,
Or that's a whole week. Yeah.
yeah, it's a whole week.
Wow.
But the other one that they definitely need to do, which I literally printed this last night, is this guy, the TX
That's cool.
180 turbo
Yeah.
tank. This one
Very
would be
cool.
this is a perfect light armor class vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's sweet. But
I know
anyways,
this is silly. That series 5 stuff,
mhm,
I think I don't know why. I was really excited for Ray Speeder. I've always been a massive fan of Ray's Speeder.
yeah,
I don't know why. I think that outfit she had at the beginning of the movie was really cool. The Speeder is such a interesting, unique design.
mhm,
I've got the Black Series version somewhere, and it's awesome as well.
yeah,
I was really looking forward to that. So I think I was more upset about that getting pushed than Anakin or Dirge or anything like that. I don't know
mhm,
why, but it's just one of those things that like really clicked for some reason.
yeah.
I hope it comes at some point.
I'm
It'd
sure
be
it
really cool to
will.
have.
Same
Yeah,
thing with the
I don't know.
silencer.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like the TIE silencer is one that the Disney store did a version of it that just sucked. Just sucked. The wings were really floppy, and so the thing would bend. I'd love to see one done by these guys. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the TIE Whisper.
Hmm.
I have almost no feelings towards the original TIE that Kylo has.
Yeah.
Silencer, I
The
believe.
silencer, yep.
I it makes me feel nothing, but for whatever reason, the Whisper is like one of those you see. Maybe it's because it looks so much like an
It's, a,
interceptor. I don't know what
it's
it
an
is.
interceptor.
And yeah, it's tied in my mind to that, the moment that was in the earliest trailer, for the movie with the flip and the cutting the wing off and all that.
Hmm.
Like that's
That was
probably one
cool.
of the best sequences of that movie, right?
Until what happens right afterwards, which
Sure.
absolutely
Well, yeah.
drives me nuts. It's
That
like
scene
this thing flies
specifically
over,
is
it blows up, but Kylo Ren comes out completely unharmed. He walks over, and I really want to know what happens here. Okay, so you guys have to help me with this. He walks over, they're standing there like, I don't know, 50 yards, 100 yards apart from one another, battling over pulling this thing or whatever. The thing blows up, and then he literally just stands there, and then you've got Finn, who's up on this rock that's 200 yards away. That's like, Ray, come on! And it's like Kylo Ren probably could have walked and got to Ray faster than she would have taken to get all the way over to where he was. And it was like,
well, she
how does that end? Kylo's just standing there like, all right, see you, Ray. Bye. She just walks away.
Yeah,
Like,
well, she almost just outran a ship, so
right. Which is, I did, well, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's just super speed. Yeah.
J.J. Abrams movies,
It's crazy.
you it definitely doesn't do you any favors to think that hard about scenes like that.
Yeah. No,
In
it
general,
doesn't.
he's all about the emotion and the feeling and is it cool?
Hmm.
Um, and is this shot set up cool how I want it? I don't think sometimes
Yeah.
there's not quite that much um behind
Well,
it.
I wonder too if there isn't a bunch left on the cutting room floor as well, where it's like,
That
and
that
it's the
whole
same thing with,
that whole movie has a ton on the cutting room floor.
oh, I'm
That
sure.
movie that movie got the knife big time. As well as being rewritten the whole time they were shooting.
Right.
There's like massive sequences that were pulled from that movie.
Yeah. And the initial sequence um, where Poe is like flying the Millennium Falcon,
Hmm.
and he like kind of goes through, and they start like hyperspeed jumping or whatever, which is
Controversial.
a great concept,
Sure.
but it was just like, man, slow down a second, because you can't follow anything because it's going so fast. But yeah, that one, there was another part of that movie that was something like that happened. That was another one of those, like, really, like, she's standing literally right there, and you just say, "See ya." I think it was the other one where she jumped out of like the Star Destroyer or whatever.
Again,
Um,
cool sequence that's kind of, silly the more you think about it. That's kind of the
yeah.
way he does stuff. Man, one a really underappreciated sequence from that movie is Finn and Poe when they're fighting in the hallways of that. The camera work in that whole sequence following them around the hallways is so good.
When they're
It's
fighting in
it's
the
an
hallway.
amazing sequence.
Which part? When Finn and
Oh
Poe?
man, yes, is that what I said? Finn
Oh,
and
yeah,
Poe.
yeah, yeah,
Finn and Poe are
yeah. Yeah.
in. They're looking for Chewie, maybe
Yes, yes,
when
yes,
they're
yes, yes.
rescuing Chewie.
Yep.
BB-8's there. I think they're like the way that is shot is so fun and kinetic.
Mhm.
It is a great sequence. It's
Yeah,
really good, and I think people don't like because
yeah.
some people have strong feelings about that movie. It's like it ends up underappreciated, but it's like one of the more fun sequences in Star Wars. Just from a more technical standpoint, the way the camera's
Mhm.
following them around and the way it's moving and where your eyes being drawn.
Sure.
That's a awesome sequence. We're
Yeah, the
we are
Hux
so
thing
in the
is,
weeds now.
oh my god, I mean, we are so in the weeds. Yeah.
Have have
Anyways,
have we touched on? Have we touched? Do we skip anything? I feel
no,
like
I
we
think
hit
we hit
we hit Vault and then upcoming releases, and it just took us way off.
no, I think we hit everything. Series 1 all the way through, and potentially things that could be coming in the future, which none of that stuff has actually been confirmed. Well, a couple of the
Yeah,
things have been
it's
confirmed.
yeah,
All
yeah.
of that is just things that were mentioned in the past,
And again,
but
with the caveat of that was then, this is
yeah,
now. I'll just
for
kind of
sure.
keep saying that. I don't know
Yeah.
what
It's certainly taking a little
things have
more of a
changed.
turn.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yep. The line is definitely taking more of a turn from lots of new stuff to much more reuse, which is totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. But we just need to, the one thing that we have to figure out how to do is to get light armor class back in target. We have to be able to do that because
Man, they're
there's,
missing out, right? They are missing out on, even if it's
yeah, and I
online
think
only or something. Make it online only. I don't.
they could still put it in stores, but the problem that we run into is that we just don't get enough of the chases and rares. I mean, I think without Target having it or some other major retailer, we're going to
We're
have
gonna
this problem
we're gonna run into
literally
this issue every single wave with light armor. It's
every
it's
single way.
it's Vault Walmart is not stocking them in the quantities that, I mean, they're not stocking them well at all. I mean,
No.
Series 4 and Series 5 barely hit shelves at all
Hmm.
at Target. So Vault is it for a lot of the hardcore collectors, and
Yeah.
1500 is not enough.
No.
So they've got to get those back at another retailer, or add the chases to Amazon. Um,
Hmm.
there's got to be something, because as it stands now, a lot of that, if they produce them in the quantity they're supposed to, those are just going to go abroad, I guess.
Right.
They're going to go international, and they'll keep showing up in New Zealand, or you know Mexico, or wherever
Mm.
they've been popping up. Um,
Yeah, the TIE Bomber never really hit, which was shocking. Like, the TIE
yeah.
Bomber is such a classic vehicle. I can't believe that that didn't hit stores.
Well, and that was potentially because they changed late in the game to being a
Right.
rare to a common release
Yeah. Yeah, but even
for
still, that was
whatever
the
reason. So
that
they
was the
obviously
case
didn't
pack that had
continue
bigs
manufacturing them,
too. But yeah, that was the second assortment though that we never got.
Yep.
That was supposed to have bigs in it.
Which specifically, that's why I think these Series 4 sets are going to be very, very
Right.
demand. The demand's going to be sky high for these, because they literally didn't hit retail shelves,
Right.
in terms of bigs and land
Landspeeder.
speeder.
Yeah.
Bomber was
Agree.
up on Amazon quite a bit. I'm surprised. I guess Amazon ordered as many as they could, but um, they've been sold out for quite a while.
Hmm. Yeah, so the land speeder, wouldn't be surprised to see the land speeder pop up at Ross here in another year or so.
Oh man. Can you imagine? Hey, we used to joke about Sabine showing up at Ross or Ollie's, and
Yeah.
here we are. This is
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
know.
happening.
They don't have any of the starfighter class vehicles though. They just have the light armors. So
Which again, super weird. I don't know why. I don't know how those things work and why they end up doing that, but I
yeah.
mean, it's great for people who are able to find her there.
Yeah, Jamie,
And I
they
mean, at $5, almost any of them are worth grabbing for $5. I mean, even if you've got a couple, that's so cheap.
for sure.
I need to go pick up another Genevex or two just for the stands,
It
because
stands, yeah.
you can use those stands with a lot of different ships, just with the way it's set up there.
Yep, Jamie, the bomber was originally a rare, but after the huge outcry of Series 3, frustration of Grievous being a rare, they decided not to do any new molds as chases or rares after Series 3. So now we're getting into, and Series 4 was already planned with the land speeder, but
Sound decision. I think
yeah,
it was a
agreed
pretty good decision.
for sure.
Making the TIE Bomber rare would definitely have been a choice.
Bad choice. Yep.
It would have been a choice for sure.
Yeah. All right, Cole. Well, I think we've hit on everything, man. After a long layoff, we're now 2 hours and 23 minutes into this. Uh-oh, here we go. With the knife. That was always the thing. I hope you bring that back, Cole, is ripping the knife out and cutting those things open. But yep, we got a bunch of stuff now coming out. So over the next couple of weeks, it should be exciting. Keep your eyes peeled for both pages, both Cole's page and the Microfleet Collectors page over the next little while as we get more information from San Diego Comic-Con. We'll be posting information on there, as well as on Instagram and all of the other. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Love it. The only thing I
This
don't
is
like
great.
about that,
I haven't opened it yet. This is awesome.
I see. The only thing I don't like about it is how the top part comes off. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt taking the
To get
because of
off?
because of how that back door sits
Sure.
relative to the engines.
Okay.
Um,
which
you'll see as you get to that part. But
I'm going to mute as I pull it out so I don't kill everyone's ears.
yeah, so like the door, the bottom of the door is too wide to pull straight up. So you kind of have to like pull it down like that and slide it back. You can't quite pull it out of the top of it. I would say that's really my only gripe,
This is
because
great.
You'll scrape up the engine part. I've already scraped up the inside of the engine here from that door.
Really?
Yeah. Grinding up against it.
So I see a fingernail spot here on the back, on the bottom.
Yes.
Is that what I'm...
Yeah, you pry it up, but when you go to take it out, you'll see you can't lift it straight up.
Yeah.
You got to slide it out.
It needs to go straight back.
Right.
So really, you just pop the back up enough to release it, and then you've got to slide it straight back. Is what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, and the wings, the only thing about the wings I'm not crazy about is the ability for them to like lock in place, because you got three different because you got three different parts of it. They don't hit like an end point. They go beyond it. Chopper.
Yeah, I don't know that this could have been much smaller. You know,
I mean, you probably could have made it. You could have made it smaller, but you wouldn't be able to put anything inside.
It wouldn't be playable. Like I think it had to, if they were going to release it this way, it had to be playable and a decent ship on it in its own right.
Right.
Well, getting this back on is slightly tricky.
Yeah.
But I assume, is it easier if you pull the wings out? Oh,
no.
Oh, did I break it? Nope.
No. It does clip out like that.
It's a loud click. You never know, man. Sometimes you're prying at this stuff, and all of a sudden, was that a good click or a bad click?
Hey, just getting here. We're 2 hours and 26 minutes in, so this is going to be posted on both of our YouTube pages. So if you did miss this, you'll be able to get back in there and watch it. Yes, Damon, my Ezra has got the logo right in the back, right in the middle of his back.
Is that a thing? Is there something to watch out for?
Well, maybe not quite in the middle of his back, but it's reasonable.
Oh, is that a thing that people are seeing?
Yeah, is yours in the middle?
Not even remotely. Not even remotely. I might have to get another one.
Yeah. Mine looks reasonable. I can still see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on there or not.
Oh, I mean, I can see mine, but
can you see it there? No. Oh
well. Chopper looks amazing.
Yep.
Chopper's
a little nub on his head.
Yeah, but this little tiny streak of blue on him that's like almost metallic. That blue pops so much.
Yeah.
Dude, man, they're so good. Chopper looks amazing. So mine
Chopper is very difficult to get out of the top once you put him in.
Mine is almost off the side of his back.
Oh yeah, yours is way off. Mine is much closer to the middle. Yep. Hey Scott, what's going on, man? His isn't in the middle either.
Almost. Can you see that? See that, Kevin?
Yeah, I can see it. Yep.
There we go. Yeah. It is definitely sliding off the side a little bit.
Chopper is like,
you're saying yours is much more centered than that?
Yeah, mine's more centered. Yeah, but Chopper is hard to get in and out of that peg. They just a heads up.
Well, I might grab another one just to see. If not, I'll get another one in Amazon pack when it comes.
There you go.
Somebody, sorry, I can't remember who this was. I saw today somebody had taken their Ezra
Hey,
and
Ken.
chopped off the head
Thanks for
and
showing up.
put on the
I saw that
the combat trooper helmet.
helmet. Yep. That's pretty
Great
cool.
idea.
That is a
Great
great
idea. To get that helmet classically on season 1 Ezra there. Great idea. If like that might be a good idea for this one, you know. If I get one that looks great,
Yep.
have to remove that head and try to get the other one on there. I'm not sure how many of those I ended up with. I don't think I actually had enough of those Lothal speeders show up for me.
I've got a bunch.
I'll tell you what, I've got several. I've got several blind boxes right here that might have it.
Nice. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with all my extra speeders I've got. I've got tons of speeders.
We'll do a blind. This just turned into a blind box opening video.
All right, here we go. Let's see what did it get.
Geonosian.
Okay, love the bugs. Bugs are great.
Yeah, not sure I need a ton of them, but there it is.
Sure you do for your
0 for 3.
Team.
All right. What if all 3 were Geonosians?
Oh,
because we're now 2 for 2 on Geonosians.
Uh-oh. Look
these
out.
These are from Amazon bundles, I believe.
Oh.
Which theoretically should yield a decent, you know. Usually I've got pretty good luck with the bundles. Last one. I don't know if this is the last one. I actually might have more. I have some Series 4 over here I haven't opened. Oh, hey. Well.
There it is.
There you go.
You got your knife right there in your hand. Cut that
now
head
I'm a little.
off.
This is what I was actually hoping for, but now I'm a little bummed that I got it going, and now I'm feeling it, and now I'm bummed it wasn't a rarer chase.
Although that one, Series 4 was actually a great one.
I
enjoyed that
somewhere.
Or Series, no, that's Series 5. That's what that is.
Yeah, Series 5. I'm not sure what I was saving these for. Why I never opened them, but.
Look at that, man. You're killing it tonight.
Yeah, you can. That's so great. You just take that little head.
Man, rip it right off.
Put it on Ezra.
Yeah. Just bite it off, Cole.
I'm not sure the best way to do that. I think there it goes. You could probably get him down and hold him and maybe take like an X-Acto knife to it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be too hard. I'd probably use a hobby knife, X-Acto knife on him.
Yep.
A little spot of glue. I'm going to do that. Shout out to whoever that was in the Facebook group that did it. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. There's 8,000 of you.
Yep. Well,
great idea though.
I think it is time to call it here. We're at 11:37 Eastern time. My drink ran out about an hour ago. So I think it's
Kevin,
about time.
What do you think of the Acolyte?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Let's go deep into that.
Yeah, let's take a deep dive into the Acolyte.
Yeah. Man,
10:37 here.
Oh gosh. That's Anyways, we'll save that for next time.
Oh, if that.
Yeah.
That's one I'm not super keen to discuss. I think the two of us are fairly
sleepy.
I think we're fairly reasonable people, so maybe it wouldn't be maybe it wouldn't be an awful conversation with us being reasonable people.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be back here in a couple weeks to be able to talk about more news that we'll have.
More timely. We'll have Comic-Con to discuss. So
yes, we will definitely have Comic-Con to discuss. So thanks everybody, and we will catch you next time. See ya.
Peace.